This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. From the green forests of the Pacific Northwest, I bid you all good evening, or good morning, as the case may be. Yes, like if you live in England or something. Oh, there we go, everybody. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Da, 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 da. Hey, all right, the Velvet Army. Thank you very much. Good evening! And good evening and welcome to the Kingdom of Nye. Yeah, that was Art Bell. Yeah, he was awesome. Yep, how's everybody doing tonight? Thank you to Shelly Ann, the Velvet Army, 1X Rose, twice, and Annabelle Stealth, who I can't tag for some reason. Can anybody else tag Annabelle Stealth? I wonder if she can comment. I wonder if she's like not... She always thought she was commenting. But, can anybody see her? Type something in, Annabelle. I'm just curious about... Oh, there you are. Huh. Well, there you are. Weird. Maybe I can do it now. Let's see. At Annabelle... Oh, there you go. Huh. It wasn't working when... before the show started, but some people I could tag. It's weird. I can now, though. It's awesome. You know, somebody sent me something that was sort of interesting just before the show started on Kernodle, the mother of Kernodle. I think her name is it Kara or something like that? I mean, she's, you know, pretty much a criminal, you know. I don't know if that's... Let me just make sure. Somebody named Kara Kernodle, who has her listed as a relative, Zaina. You know, you sort of wonder, you know, I'm not really big on doing like, oh, it's a hit based off of something like that, but, you know, somebody just sent it right before the show, and it's like she was even arrested on the 20th of November. Like, that's 3 days ago. So that's pretty interesting. Well, that could just be because it was multiple, you know, she's had multiple arrests over the years, so, you know, bail goes higher and higher, like, for repeat offenders of just being felons. Oh man, you've got notes. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. Thanks, Amanda. But anyways, I thought we could play. I don't know if you guys are interested, but I could play the. Has everybody heard the press conference already? I shortened it up where it's just the question and answering and the first guy, and I fixed the audio so it's loud. And then once we play that, then it sort of gets you back in. And didn't, one of the press conferences a long time ago talked about how they were all in bed, right? I mean, it's not in what they say. It's usually like in the question and answering part. But it's been known for a long time that they were in bed when the attack happened. At least that's what they're telling the public. And then I got some information from a couple different people. One of them I can't say, and it sucks, but I can't read it. But the other, the guy that called in earlier, he sent me an email on it, and I minus the name of the person because I sent it into the tip line. Based on, and here's what's crazy about it. The main reason I sent it to the tip line was because the person that he was interested in matched the description, roughly, of this other person who told me something yesterday. Like the one element of it. And it was like, whoa, that's weird. So I sent it off. And I said to call me if you want to get a hold of the original person. I'm not taking any credit for it, if they, he didn't want to do that for some reason. Or wasn't sure if he could or not, or should. But, it's a student that went to school there. And so we'll go over that later, too. And then, by the way, that other case that's out there, the Shaquille Robinson, the girl in Mexico. Well, I wasn't really interested in that at all, but it seems like there's some wild stuff going on in that one right now. So I'm not really sure. I might have to take a look at that one. It's turned into quite a bit different than originally it appeared. Yeah, well, I'm just looking at the... Yeah, I think they left off the N in the email. Yeah, Shanquills. Is that what you're saying? Shanquella? Are you sure about that? Let me look. Yeah, Shanquella Robinson, yeah. But man, all of a sudden it got pretty weird. I don't know. The person who sent me the email didn't type it in right, and I wasn't looking at the link, but I've already had this for a long time. I just never... I don't know, it just didn't interest me, but now it's sort of getting pretty nutty, so might have to look at that one. Yeah, the one that was beat, but now apparently she was treated by a doctor before she died, and just weird shit happened, Yeah, so I haven't really followed that one myself, but maybe I'll have to go back in time and sort of go through and figure out, put it all together. Maybe we'll go read all the articles over time so that we can get a sense of how it changed and everything. Yeah. Gray, I just want to talk about this case, okay, guy? Well, we're actually a true crime channel here, right? So we talk about all kinds of cases. So, if you're not interested in a case, you probably won't be watching, but there's a lot of really interesting cases that exist out in the world, not just one, All right, let me play I got the press conference. Okay, that's just really low. Watch that.
Here with the Moscow Police Department.
See, it's way better.
I want to assure you, first off, that
Let me get rid of
the loss of Xana, Kaylee, Madison, and Ethan remains the highest priority for the Moscow Police Department. We will continue putting all of our resources into investigating and solving these murders. Investigators are prepared to work through the Thanksgiving holiday to continue their efforts. I also want to express our sincere appreciation to the Idaho State Police, the FBI, the University of Idaho, and the Latah County Sheriff's Office for their assistance. And I especially want to thank the community of Moscow for their outpouring of support through this incredibly difficult time. Today I'm going to recap in brief what we know, I'm going to provide some new information, and I'm going to address some rumors. On the evening of November 12th and into the early morning hours of November 13th, Kaylee and Madison arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. after visiting a local bar and a street food vendor. Ethan and Xana were also out in the community at Sigma Chi, and they arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. Two surviving roommates who were also out in the community arrived home at approximately 1 a.m. Later, on the morning of November 13th, at 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was placed. The call reported an unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence, and a surviving roommate's cell phone was used. During that call, the dispatcher spoke to multiple people who were on scene. Moscow police officers responded and found two victims, two on the second floor and two on the third floor of 1122 King Road. The results of autopsies indicated that the four were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds, and there was no sign of sexual assault.
Right. So they say likely asleep. That means the evidence at the scene looks like they were all sleeping when the attacks occurred. And so, that's they've said that almost that exact wording for how long do you guys think? A week now, at least, that they've said that they were sleeping?
We do not believe the following individuals were involved: the two surviving roommates, the male seen in a grub truck video circulating on the internet, a private party who drove Kaylee and Madison home, any of the individuals who spoke to the dispatcher on the 911 call. We're also aware of a male whom Madison and Kaylee had called, and there was no sign of sexual assault. We do not believe the following individuals were involved: the two surviving roommates, the male seen in a grub truck video circulating on the internet, a private party who drove Kaylee and Madison home.
Here, let me see if I'm going to
the individuals who spoke to the dispatcher on the 911.
I'm going to try to practice something here. I know it's kind of boring for you guys, but hold on. There's this thing that little monitor, projector, move that over here. Now let me see what happens if I put this over here. And then can I, oh, look at that. See, it works. There we go. Okay, I think that should work. Ooh, shit. All right, so I'm just trying to practice how to use the drawing thing on here. It's pretty crazy, but anyways, let's go back in this and rewind a little bit.
And there was no sign of sexual assault. We do not believe the following individuals were involved: the two surviving roommates, the male seen in a grub truck video circulating on the internet, a private party who drove Kaylee and Madison home, any of the individuals who spoke to the dispatcher on the 911 call. We're also aware of a male whom Madison and Kaylee had called several times the morning of November 13th, and we do not suspect that individual. Detectives have canvassed the neighborhoods looking for evidence, physical evidence, video surveillance, and they've contacted numerous residents to see if anybody may have seen or heard anything. They continue requesting tips that can be sent to our tip line or called in to our tip line. The specific areas that we're interested in are detailed on maps on our city website and our Facebook page, but as stated earlier, generally south of Taylor Avenue to Palouse River Drive, and the area west of US 95 over to the Arboretum. We have heard mention that Kaylee stated she may have had a stalker. Detectives have been looking into that, and to this point have been unable to corroborate the statement, although we continue to seek information and tips regarding that report.
Yes, that's interesting.
No suspects have been named or arrested, and we continue looking for what we believe to be a fixed blade knife used in the murders. We have not released the names of any of the subjects who spoke on the 911 call, and we have not released the call itself. Any online reports of the victims being tied and
Thanks, Mary.
gagged are not accurate.
They were not bound and gagged.
Regarding the resources that we've put forth in this investigation, the Moscow Police Department has 4 detectives, 24 patrol officers,
Thanks, Brianna.
and 5 support staff dedicated to this investigation. The FBI has 22 investigators in Moscow and 20 additional agents assigned in various locations, as well as 2 members of the Behavioral Analysis Unit. The Idaho State Police has 20 investigators, a public information team, a forensic services and crime scene team, and 15 uniformed troopers who have been valuable in helping provide community patrols and safety patrols. We very much appreciate their support. This is our highest priority.
I'm not going to apologize for Jack. The news was talking about Jack too, and they never cleared him. And I never said his last name, and I never showed a picture of him, Alaskan Frontier. So go be a troll somewhere else, idiot. Okay? Yeah, my theory was absolutely sound. Okay? Absolutely sound.
Will remain our highest priority.
And it's going to be something not too far off of what you would maybe have pictured him being. And I also made the video for channel members only a few days ago, because I was like, well, I'm not really sure. You know? So go clown somewhere else, all right? You make one more comment like that, and you'll never be back here again.
We owe that to the families. At this time, I would like to introduce Colonel Kedrick Wills from the Idaho State Police.
So we would like to open it up to any questions, but I would like to ask if there's an Argonaut reporter here that would like to ask. And then second after that...
What about the grub truck video, Laura? What about the grub truck video? We've played it 1,000 times. What do you mean? At Grant Hughes, the grub truck video. What is... listen, I am working on girl code. I am working on it, I swear to God. But can anybody else tell what that means? Just somebody typing in, Grant Hughes, the grub truck video. Means absolutely nothing to me. I have no idea what that means. Sorry about that.
an evergreen reporter, if there's one in the room. So let's start with the Argonaut, please.
I'm with the LCC.
Not even the girls get this one. Wow. That's amazing.
James Torman Aldrich with the Argonaut. I have 2 questions, if that's all right. Firstly being what the police presence is going to look like after Thanksgiving break and how long that's going to last.
So I'll go ahead and answer. The police presence is going to be very heavy after the break. We have Idaho State Patrol.
Well, that's what I was
will also
saying.
still
Yeah,
be
put
in
like
the
20.
area.
That's what I
You'll
said to
see
do.
a high impact
Like
of
20 cops in
patrol
there.
officers and
100 extra.
troopers, as
Yeah.
well as Lake Tahoe County Sheriff's Department personnel in the area.
And then secondly, will there be any possibility of the release of the 911 phone call, even in transcript form?
Not at this time. That's part of our investigation.
Laura. Zing doodle. La da da. Blue. Ba da da da. Zing doodle.
Frankie Beer, the Daily Evergreen. I guess the Moscow PD press release mentioned looking into hundreds of pieces of information about Kaylee's potential stalker. I was wondering what led you to believe she did have a stalker possibly, and why those pieces of information haven't come up with conclusive results.
I'm actually going to let Captain Lanier answer this question, okay?
Thank you, Chief. We obtained information through some of our interviews that Kaylee had made some comments about a stalker, so that's where that came from. We have followed up looking at specific time frames in specific areas of town. So far, we have not been able to corroborate it, but we're not done looking into that piece of information.
Welcome, Disc Golf Bear.
Dan Springer, Fox News. If I can get Captain Lanier.
Dan Springer seemed like he was pissed off,
Sir, why not tell the public who the target was?
Wow, this guy, man, he's got a hairdo there, doesn't he?
You've said that this was a targeted attack. Why not tell the public who was targeted? If it was multiple people, it would go a long ways to telling the public what you're looking for and who you're looking for, the type of person you're looking for. Why not do that to alleviate some of the fears out there in the community?
Well, first and foremost, we have the integrity.
Yeah, I mean, I get what he's saying. Like, if you could say, oh, they were definitely after Kaylee, like they went in, she was obviously the main victim. She was, attacked more than the rest of them. Then people would go, oh, okay, well, maybe I feel safer now because I'm not her. But the thing is the person went in there and killed all 4 people. So you don't really know, without catching the person, what the reason for killing all of them was. So even if there was a targeted, the one that was the main hate. For example, like in a situation like this, let's say there was somebody who had their eye on Kaylee. Well, here's one thing to look at. Kaylee was the only single person of the 4 that was killed. So was there somebody out there maybe that, she met somewhere really quick, and again, they knew that she was single, and she just totally rejected him, and then maybe even talked to some of the other people, and they were like, oh, dude, come on, and he thinks that those people are the reason why Kaylee wouldn't go out with him or something like that. Or, who knows what the reason is. But he goes over there and he kills all the other people that wronged him, but he wasn't as angry at them and more at the person that jilted him, right? Something like that.
The investigation to preserve. And we feel like that information is integral to us and how we conduct our investigation. Releasing that to the public may or may not flood us with a lot of information that's not relevant or specific to what we're looking at.
Oh, so that's the day. So Kaylee bought a Range Rover. Man, she must have come from a rich family. So she bought a Range Rover that day, and then, I don't see it in an article. Do you have that in an article somewhere where we can play that video? So she just bought a Range Rover, you're saying, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think it doesn't seem like a death that would happen based on the Range Rover. The Range Rover wasn't stolen. There was nothing stolen from the house, and they killed 4 people. Why not just break into the house and steal the Range Rover? Or something like that. Instead, you kill 4 people. That's just way overkill for something like that.
So we do want more information, but
send me an email with the video saying that, though. Please.
We don't want to put our investigation in jeopardy by releasing what we have. There's always a balance between what you're willing to release versus what you're trying to gather. We've told the public very clearly from the beginning that we're looking for a knife. We've told the public very clearly from the beginning that we believe it was a targeted attack. To be honest, you're going to have to trust us on that at this point, because we're not going to release why we think that.
Good. That's good stuff.
Lauren Patterson, Northwest Public Broadcasting. I see that the FBI set up a special web page just to collect digital information. I'm also curious if any of the investigators can speak to this. Curious if the Wi-Fi hotspot has been tapped at all. It's possible if the suspect had their phone on them, it may have pinged off the Wi-Fi in the residence. Has that been checked on at all?
As I stated, our investigation is looking at every avenue of every piece of evidence that we can. The FBI has given us a website for any downloads of video or anything, so we ask people, if you have any of that, to send it to us, please.
Thank you. Natasha Chen, CNN. I have a couple of questions here. One, in many homicide cases, the first hours, the first days are so incredibly crucial. Now that we're moving into a window that's further and further away from the incident, does that concern you about the ability to arrest a suspect, or do you have information that you simply can't share with us that makes you confident that you're close to solving this?
I'm going to have the Colonel step up and address that, please.
Well, thank you for the question, and I would like to address it a little more globally than specifically. A little more globally here. Yes, as time goes on, I mean, we're time past the initial.
I thought they broke up quite a time before that, quite a ways back. We don't have exact dates of things like when did Kaylee break up. Well, it was on January. We don't know, right? I mean, somebody might know, like the mom or one of the friends.
Initial calls for service and the initial crime. However, we also, as time goes on, are able to process the forensics evidence, any forensics evidence that we may have collected, and so that helps us. And we're also able to process the tips that continue to come in, which may help us. And so, while time in one respect is not beneficial, in another respect it is, because it helps provide us with that whole picture with all of the information.
Yeah, we don't know. No can do. We've gone over that.
Information that we're gathering, whether it's evidence or tips or any other information.
And we don't know that Kaylee was the target of anything. Okay, she's the one that's single, and you could see her then maybe somebody thinking they could go up and ask her out or something, or I mean, who knows, right? I mean, we don't know. They're not going to tell us. He just was really emphatic about that, about how they're not going to let us know why they believe there's a targeted person there, and it's probably because it's pretty disturbing, right? Something like that. Maybe one of them was attacked way more dramatically, but we're not going to get to know who that was. I'm not really sure. I mean, doesn't it just seem targeted just on its face instead of really trying to go, ooh, wow. It's targeted anyways because 4 people were murdered while they were sleeping. Right? So whether or not it's a target in terms of one specific person or they went in there to kill a bunch of people, it's still targeted. But they didn't steal anything. So they went in there to kill people. That's what they were doing there.
We're gathering and may help us to provide a clearer picture. And so it may help answer those questions that we're seeking as well.
Correct.
Hi, Angela Palermo, Idaho Statesman. I was wondering if there's any evidence that suggests the attacker visited the first floor where the 2 surviving roommates were.
That information will not be released at this time. It's part of our investigation, and as we stated earlier, there's many things that are involved in an investigation that we will release and things we won't.
Yeah, I think it's possible that the person actually may have came through the first floor. Like how do we know for certain that the roommates that were there didn't see something? They heard a bunch of stuff, or they heard things, right? That's what we know for certain, right? Is that they heard noises and then they locked their doors. But it was really kind of vague, like, oh, we heard noises and locked our doors, and then people assumed they were talking about partying. But here's the thing: is like if the girls did hear something that was disturbing, the 2 roommates, would they have just been able to go to sleep and then wake up the next day? I mean, would you be able? I couldn't do that. If I was living in an apartment and with like a house, and there was something going on that seemed really disturbing, a lot of screaming and yelling and things going on. Yes, I lock my door, and then I'm just going to go to sleep. I don't know, man. I don't know. I wonder if they were actually awake the whole time, but just never called 911, and then eventually it was quiet. So then they maybe have fallen asleep then and just thought, oh, okay, finally the party, they're gone.
Good afternoon, Ashley Soriano, Fox News. I have two questions. Have you considered the possibility of a murder-suicide? Is that something that you guys are considering right now?
I don't know what you mean, Beckles, whatever that means. It's a poorly worded sentence again. Type in a
That
full
question has
sentence.
been asked previously, not at a press conference. It's certainly something that we looked at in the early part of the investigation. It is not something that we're looking at this time.
And I know some of the investigators' vehicles and police vehicles are coming in and out of
Yeah.
the driveway. Do you think that potentially could disturb any tire marks or other evidence?
Yeah, so the question has been asked about why did the crime scene tape expand, and
That's
not uncommon. When the first officers arrived, they...
What do you mean, what is this press conference? It's for the Idaho murders. I'm not sure what you mean by that. What is thus press conference?
They tried to cordon off what they thought was important. We immediately expanded that when the investigators...
I think we're going to have one of those nights again in here, you guys.
got there to process the scene. And logically, as this progresses, and you've seen this through our press releases, we have expanded it to several areas of the city and have in fact canvassed entire neighborhoods. So we try very, very hard to uncover every single bit of evidence possible in an area before we move on to the next area. So yes, we've looked at everything that we think we need to look at in and around the crime scene at this point.
But do you believe that cars coming back and forth in the driveway, potentially like tire marks or foot marks, that there could have been?
Well, it's a gravel parking area, so it would be hard to say that.
No, I don't, Donna. I think it's really unlikely now. I already went over it on the other show. I mean, are you guys... So, well, here's the thing. I put out a theory, and I said, it's very possible it's not true, but it seemed rational, and the news was talking about the same person a couple days later, and it was totally rational. So here's what's going to happen. If you're somebody that comes in here and you're going to trash just having the theory, and I didn't even put his last name out there, nor his picture, or anything like that at all. If you're going to come in here and sort of question and be upset about it and go, "Great, what do you think now?" I don't know what your tone is, but it's kind of a strange question. It's pretty obvious once they say he's cleared. I don't keep thinking the same thing. I'm not like a lot of you who have a theory and then you're married to the theory once there's counter information because you've always thought something and you're just not going to let it go. Okay, I don't mind. I just move on after that. But it's law enforcement has a part to play because they never cleared him over and over and over again in press conferences. And then finally, they did that. Okay, they almost went out of their way not to on a couple of them. Yeah. So we're just going to remove people that do that.
How are your detectives and officers holding up? And Chief, you mentioned that detectives are prepared to work tomorrow on Thanksgiving. So is the expectation that they will be?
That is correct. We're going to have many detectives and agents working all the way through.
Yeah, it's not going to be a family member. It's not going to be a family member.
This incident. Our people are dedicated. Our people care about this community. Our people want to ensure the community that we're here to bring safety, and we're
well. If the media is if the law enforcement's tricking us and they really think it's him, but they're saying he's cleared to make him feel good, I can't do anything about that. Just like in the Debbie Collier case, I thought it was suicide the entire time until the detective told me something, and I went, oh. Wow, okay, that's why you guys think it's a murder. There's something missing from the crime scene that actually caused the death. Whoa, that's a game changer. 100%, 99% certain now. I did even have the 1% that was still open. But then later they said, oh, we found the item. So basically what he told me was incorrect and, took me off the off the track that was correct. But, even after that, it's still, every time we do a show, it would lead right back to suicide. And it's not unaliving, okay? Now, you get timed out for saying unalived on here.
Here to get a resolve on
It's
this.
not
So
blocked.
We will
It's,
continue to push
it's that
through.
bad.
We'll give people time off as they need it, and we will continue to take care of them. But we're gonna keep pushing on this.
Happy
until we,
Thanksgiving.
come to a conclusion.
Chris Mitchell, KLEW. Is there any plans to increase security for the Apple Cup on Friday?
Well, I can't speak to what's going on in the state of
Yeah.
Washington. I can only
Right,
speak to what we're
Beverly,
doing
right,
here
right.
on the campus of the University of Idaho in concert with President Green and his team. We are absolutely, with the Idaho State Police and the Moscow Police Department, we are 100% dedicated to making sure that this continues to be a safe place for students to do what students need to do. And so that's why we have so many uniformed troopers here that aren't necessarily assisting with the investigation, but rather here to help with the campus security. And President Green and his team have been fantastic in helping to strike that balance to make sure that we have law enforcement resources
They didn't really ever consider that. They just said that we ruled out that.
here. So while I can't speak what's going on anywhere else, I can tell you at the University of Idaho we have a lot of state troopers, a severe increase of state troopers and Moscow police officers here, both on campus as well as throughout the community.
John Gabell, ABC News. Our
He didn't
investigators
stumble
looking
over
into
it
possible connection
at all.
to
when
an
I answered that.
unsolved double stabbing in the Salem, Oregon area about a year and a half ago. Specifically, 2 people stabbed in their home in the middle of the night. Long knife, no suspect at this point. One died, one survived.
Well, why would he sue me? I didn't put his name out there, Donna. Get out of here, Donna. Jeez, I don't. People like you, I don't want on the channel. You're an idiot.
I think we're looking at every avenue, and we have other agencies reaching out to us with other cases and stuff that we are doing follow-up on, and we will continue to follow up on those.
Are you aware of that
Hey,
case?
Donna,
Actually-
Donna, change your name to Karen, okay? Thanks.
We had a tip come in on that case, and I forwarded it to our tip line.
Okay, one more question. Can you confirm the bodies have been released to the families or are being so released today?
I believe they have been released to the family, and I know that I believe one of them has already had a funeral.
Destiny Martin with the LCSC Pathfinder. Can you lend any insights into the possibility that the murder weapon is linked to the ROTC program? And also you mentioned that the analysis unit is here. Will we be able to hear anything from them about a working profile they
And if your name is actually Karen, I'm not talking to you. I'm not referring to you. It's unfortunate that word name Karen was picked out there, but it just is what it is.
possibly have? And on that note, have you guys ruled out the possibility that the killer might be a female?
Well, if I was them, I'd sue the New York Times for putting his name out there for the one that took those phone calls. I think it's totally reasonable, since law enforcement didn't clear him, to go, wow, they're trying to call a person who's not answering their phone. He's obviously either upset or, or something, and they all get murdered within an hour after that, and he had just broken up with his girlfriend. I mean, that's not unreasonable to think that, okay? But I never used his last name, nor did I show his face on here until, then his face was in the news because everybody else was talking about him too. They were the one. New York Times put it out there. And we already had the call.
So we look at every
we already had the information on the calls, so there you go.
We're looking at every...
let me ask you something. What should I apologize for? I guess. Just theorizing based on the information that was there? Can anybody think of something? I don't really know. It's not like I sat there and drug his name around through the mud and, all these different things. I merely theorized, and I said, this is a theory, and it might be completely wrong. I didn't accuse him of anything, okay? I was just theorizing based on the information. There's a big difference. Here's where there's a difference. When you're on a channel and they're like, oh, God, look at that guy. Oh, look at the way he's looking. Oh, man, he's got to be behind this somehow. Oh, that's different than saying, okay, he just broke up with a girlfriend. Or they broke up a while ago, whatever. But maybe they were going to get back together. And, you know, he seems like he's upset because he's not answering the phone. And the girls knew that maybe if one of the other ones calls, he'll answer. That's still that's a real thing that happened. And then an hour later, the entire house, and those people aren't alive anymore. They've all been murdered. Okay? So I guarantee it, law enforcement were looking into him. Did they have to apologize too? I mean, let me just ask you that. Yeah, they're the worst, Melanie. I check them out sometimes. They're just absolute idiots. But here's the thing. Law enforcement was looking into him, and his family admitted, or Kaylee's family admitted, that law enforcement was looking into him when they said, they can look into him all they want, but he's not the one. And so they did. And then finally, they probably looked at him and went, okay, we're going to clear him. All right, so I hope they get in trouble, right? Is that what you're saying, that they should get in trouble too? I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's absolutely insane, God, unreal.
Group of people, like I said early in our first press conference, we're not going to let any stone go unturned.
But you always get these people.
Can you just clarify your second portion of that question? Oh, the BAU, sorry.
Yes, I would like to know if the BAU has a working profile, because, you look at victimology. Sure. Are you able to tell us who was killed first on the time of death?
Hey, thank you, PS, for twice there.
If it was a
Sorry, I
targeted
missed
attack, it would make the most sense.
Wow.
If they killed one of the roommates first, and then maybe the other two, I'm not,
sure.
This is not speculation, I'm getting off topic. My question is are you guys looking at a working profile? Have they come up with anything new regarding the motive or intentions of the killer or killers?
The BAU unit is working diligently to do what they do. Will that be provided? I'm sure that may be provided once the...
I wonder why it would take so long to develop a profile when it's just sort of like you got these parameters, boom, right? Let's see. Hey, PS, it says I had to double this amount because it's weird freaking night in the chat. I think you already earned this, and you basically just started the show. Good luck to you tonight. And then later on, she did it again. Or, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. P.S. Now I don't remember what the... let's see, it says, it's not like you played a video of his high school graduation for 8 hours straight from multiple camera angles in slow-mo. Right, yeah. Remember that in the Kylie Rodney case? Do you remember that? Yeah. This one channel went after every single friend over and over and over and over again, played the graduation ceremonies. Unbelievable. Probably one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. And what's even dumber is all the people that were like, oh, wow, ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, that was even dumber.
Conclusion of this case comes together, but they are continually taking in information and reading reports and gathering information for that.
Good afternoon, Chief. Amanda Rowley with Crime 2. Seeing some speculation with some of the cars being searched.
And you too can get your ooh mug too.
Week. Wonder if you can squash some of the.
So they were
rumors
searching
and
the
that
cars that were
speculation.
there.
Is there anything you can share specifically on the white car out front, and then a follow-up for the university after?
So I'll have Captain Lanier go ahead and come up with that.
Thank you.
Well, we have looked at a lot of different vehicles. I'm assuming you're referring to the vehicles that were in the parking lot at the time. Yeah, so some of those vehicles belonged to the victims and some belonged to other people in the house. And so for us, that's part of the crime scene. As I mentioned earlier, the crime scene was expanded out through the parking lot. So
thanks, PS.
We wanted to make sure that we looked at those prior to releasing the crime scene. It was part of the initial investigation that night.
Thank you. And for the university, is there any additional information at this time that you...
P.S. said, God granted this man patience. I always want to slap half the chat. I see exactly what you're saying. Sometimes I'm just reading it, and people just have like mental diarrhea. You know, they just like they'll just be sitting there and they go, "Oh wow, what if somebody flew in from out of town and landed on the roof from a helicopter, and like kind of came down and." Yeah, that's just something you would have quietly thought, not mention it at all. You know what I mean? Just like sort of, it just sort of would have been a fleeting thought instead of just saying it. You know?
Can offer about the candlelight vigil, maybe what we can expect from
like
that.
Discern
and
what
then,
you're saying.
Any other...
See, here's the thing, everybody. In the true crime world, you know, it makes it a lot better if you sort of are discerning about what you're about to type in. Like really think, is what I'm about to say worth anything? You know, I mean, I don't know how to do that, because maybe when you do that, you think it is worth something. But it seems like a lot of times people just like to see themselves type in or something. You know, it's just, I typed something, you know.
Information you can provide about that ask of the community to light the night on November 30th.
Thank you for that. I'm going to turn
Rich,
this over
who
to
knows?
Blaine Eccles at this point. He's actually planning the whole event. So we appreciate it.
Here's what I think.
Good afternoon. I'm Blaine Eccles, Dean of Students. The vigil is going to be hosted next Wednesday, November 30th at 5 p.m. We have it scheduled for the administration lawn at the moment. We're going to make a final determination on location early next week, just because we're waiting for the weather window to get closer, so we feel comfortable that that's where it will be located. We're anticipating a large turnout of community members as well as university members, students, faculty, and staff at that particular event.
The back door.
Once again, that's part. So I'm going to go ahead and take two more questions, okay?
Jordan Smith, KXLY. At this point in time, do investigators know which entrance the suspect used to enter the residence, if this was someone who might have known the door code at the front or maybe used the back door?
Once again, that's part of our investigation. We're not going to release that information this time. Thank you.
No, Baltimore News 8. You said this was a targeted event. You won't tell us why they were targeted. What should students do to prevent being targeted in the future?
Well, that's a great question, especially in light of what just happened. If you would have asked us 9 days ago, we would have had probably a different answer. Moscow's always been a very safe community. In light of this, and maybe we should always look at it this way, vigilance, always traveling in pairs, knowing where you're going, telling someone when you arrive, and just that kind of general awareness. Maybe we should, as a community, have always been doing that. You know, in some ways, this took our innocence. I would tell students that you need to stay with a friend. I know that the university staff is looking at different options to increase some of the safety on campus and providing certain options to students. So, yeah, going forward, there's a lot of things that maybe we wish we would have done before, but we need to start doing now.
So I'm going to go ahead and close, but what we do want to let our community know that we do care. We do want to provide a safe environment. We will continue to work hard, and we'll continue to do everything we can. We want people to be vigilant. We want people to report anything suspicious to us and let us get there and handle it. But we are here to provide that safety. So I want to thank you today for coming, and I appreciate your questions.
All right. Okay, so we got that. Now let me go to, let's switch screens for a second. This video contains, oops, not that one. And by the way, if you're out there and you're not subscribed to the channel, let's get up to 90,200, okay? I think we started the show with more, but thankfully, if we lost a couple Karens out there, that's okay. It's all right with me. What I like are people that with brains, and that's why it grows a little slower over here. Okay, because I don't allow just sort of like, people that get really upset really fast, they don't last long here. And that's just the way it is, It's unfortunate, but, Do I care? No. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Not really sure if what I can read from that one, but the guy that sent me the email later, the guy that called in on the previous show and was interested in somebody. So let me read about this one, okay? It says, thank you for taking my call. I request that my name, email, and other details remain anonymous. Let's see. Okay. One of the attached photos taken next door to the murder scene at 701 Taylor Avenue. The criminal charge that this person has is it was telephone use to annoy, harass, intimidate, or threaten. 30-day detention was served nearby in Idaho County. Hometown is Grangeville, given 24 months probation. Detention began in September of 2022. The student was 19 years old when booked, rumored that charges stem from stalking, harassing a female student, which, that's sort of interesting, right? Rumored to be, except police would be all over that if they knew it that way. Rumored to be expelled from a frat at university for whatever he may have done. Rumored that the fraternity had a bad image on campus because of this incident. The kid, this person also participated in martial arts as a child. All right. He said he found it odd that nobody mentioned this kid, so it's entirely possible that he's not relevant. For all I know, it could be a common knowledge that he packed up and moved far away and wouldn't be a suspect at all. It's also possible that the criminal charge itself didn't stem from a crime on campus and may not have anything to do with another student. So, anyways, that thing, and then he sent me pictures of the person that I'm not going to be showing, but then there was some person totally unrelated to the person that emailed me here sent me some stuff that may or may not be true, but it sounds like it was sort of like inside information. And the description of one little element matches the picture of the guy. I mean, it's pretty weird. So, if it gets to a point where I can actually show you that, then that'd be great, but can't do it. No, that's not the one, KK. Sorry about that. You got the wrong one. I know you always think you're on top of it, but that's not the one. No, I'm not going to go over it again. You just have to hit the rewind button and listen to it. Let's see. I do not want to call... Yeah, it's not the same thing. But anyways, because it matched what the other person said, I sent in the tip in, but I just said I'm not the one that came up with it. Just if you want me to, if you need the information to get a hold of the original email, I'll send you that information. Yeah. I thought they all did travel in pairs that evening. What do you mean timeline for basement of roommates? What does that mean? Yeah, that's not... Ethan has nothing to do with this person. Yeah. I'm not sure what you're referring to, KK. You might have a whole different theory out there somewhere. Because I don't feel like it. Because I was told not to share the... I don't do those... That's the thing, Phil. See, on this channel, I'm giving you as much information as I can right there. And I'm not like the other channels who just put people's faces out and sensationalistically, try to go after all these different people. I don't... For all I know, it means nothing. All I know is I sent the tip. Okay? Yeah. I'm not going to show you a picture of somebody that might not have anything to do with it and then have you... God. I heard Ron Logan knew about karate. Could there be an Idaho connection? Very, very well could be. Yeah, I'm not going to show them the picture, Phil. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to show a picture of a guy. I guess it was in the Pike house. That's the fraternity that he was in. Yeah, I said what he got in trouble for. I read right through it, Malia. Ah, crap. Man, we're getting back to that weird shit again. People get in a 2-second thing they didn't pay attention to. All right, here it is again. God. One of the attached photos was taken next door to the murder scene at 701 Taylor Avenue. So let's see where that is. I guess right here, right around next to that house right there. So that's where this picture was taken. The criminal charge was telephone use to annoy, harass, intimidate, or threaten. 30-day detention was served nearby in Idaho County, given 24 months probation. I mean, that's pretty severe for just something like... And then it's... the student was 19 years old when booked, and this was September 2022, rumored that charges stem from stalking, harassing a female student. Rumored to be expelled from the frat at university for whatever. So those are the rumor parts, but the charges were really there. And, he did like martial arts. I mean, martial arts part, whatever, right? I mean... Hey, thanks, little Barb. And you guys that put all the little symbols and stuff by your names, it's so hard to tag you. It's like, how do you find that little weird heart symbol somewhere? If I was you, all the people that have all the little symbols in front of their names, just get rid of those and find something else. Because there's really no way to tag anybody. Thanks, Dreaming Girl. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could, maybe I'll do something like for the, Megazoid channel members or something, like, hey, here's this stuff. Give them something, but it's also private, like you can't get in there unless you're a channel member. Hey, thanks. Leave the drama for the Yama. Hey, Yama, hey, Yama. Hey, Yama, hey, Yama. No drama, Yama. No drama, Yama. There we go. I don't know if KK ever answered, but I don't see it. I was looking to see if what rumor there is on Facebook or Twitter, wherever the hell that was. No, it was Reddit, right?
How you guys doing?
Let's listen to this interview here.
Me? It's not real yet. I'm a bit in
This
denial.
is from
I'm hoping for justice. That's why I'm trying to switch myself into that mode to try to
Amber
find some
Maiden
justice.
sent me that.
That's where I'm at.
I get it. Steve, Olivia?
Yeah, it is. I just know my sister. She's
These are the Kernodles family members.
a hard worker, and just sitting in my bed and crying myself to sleep isn't gonna do her any justice, and that's not what she'd want me to do. She'd want me to stay active and
Takes one
doing
extra.
what I can to spread her message and hope that we can find this suspect or suspects. And that's how I feel.
I get it. I get it. She's got a great smile. We keep showing that picture. I know your family's been frustrated with the investigation so far, understandably so. Here we are, a week and a half out, and really not much information about this. Does not appear to be a suspect. Tell me, Olivia, what specifically you've been frustrated with? Because you did your own work here. For instance, you found video of the food truck, for example, where two of the victims were seen the same night as this killing.
Yeah, I would say, I think that obviously this is extremely personal for us, and we treated it that way from the very get-go. I know how valuable those first 48, 72 hours are. And I can only hope that the police also know how valuable that is, and that they have a lot of information there that just isn't public right now. I will say the one lingering frustration I have is the timeline. I know it's semantics, but my sisters got home at 1:56. It was.
Well, if that's a true part of the story, KK, then let's say that's true, that Ethan is the one that turned this guy in to the frat house. Well, that must mean that at that time he was probably somebody that was bugging his own girlfriend. And wouldn't that be crazy if that turns out to be it? That'd be absolutely nuts. Because that sort of fits the story, but of course on Reddit they like to do that, where they can make, people just type in shit to make a connection that doesn't actually exist. But yeah.
Wasn't 1:45. I know it might not seem significant, but when we're looking for camera, when we're looking for dash footage, when we're looking for any of those things,
well, I think it's a different person.
I do feel it is valuable, and they did get home at 1:56. It was not 1:45.
Right.
Okay, if you have the right person, KK, then on Facebook, put the name of the person on Facebook, and I'll tell you if it's the same person. Okay.
Well, there's one detail there. Kaylee's mother.
How is the timeline? I know it's semantics, but my sisters got home at 1:56. It wasn't 1:45. I know it might not seem significant, but when we're looking for camera, when we're looking for dash footage, when we're looking for any of those things, I do feel it is valuable, and they did get home at 1:56. It was not.
You know, it would have been a great follow-up question by the interviewer. Oh, 1:56. How do you know that? How do you know it was 1:56? But I bet he doesn't ask that question.
1:45.
Right. Well, there's one detail there. Kaylee's mother has said she believes that the suspect, the killer, is someone Kaylee knew very well, and that the killer might even be at the vigil. Remarkable. I wonder, Steve, do you share that view?
It's speculation. My daughter was very popular. It seemed like
thanks, Bucks.
everyone that
Yeah, no
I
problem.
talked to said she knew everyone. They had parties. They were college kids. They were about to graduate.
Yeah.
So somebody could have partied in the house and got an idea or got the confidence to pull that off.
Steve
got an idea or got the confidence. They were college kids. They were about to graduate.
Yeah. So
somebody could have partied in the house and got an idea or got the confidence to pull that off.
Steve, this question of a stalker, and I'm very conscious with this story of how many rumors have been circulating, and a lot of those rumors turn out to not be true. But Stephen, this discussion of the possibility she may have had a stalker, have police been able to stand that up, or not? They seem to be knocking that down.
That's right, Shanna. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, it seems to be knocked down. Obviously, any of that information would be new to us as well. Kaylee FaceTimed me. She didn't call or text. She FaceTimed me.
Here's what I will say if Jack's out there. If me making that video caused you mental, like at that time bothered you at all, then I'm sorry for doing that, okay? But the theory, I don't apologize for doing a theory like that. Okay? That's all I can really say. But I mean, if you picture somebody, if it's bugging them, I don't even know if they saw it because I put it out there and then the next day I put it on for my members only, you know, because I wasn't really sure about it. But that's it, you know. I mean, other than that, law enforcement looked into the same person, and I just had a theory. That's it. And right now, it doesn't seem like it's going to be accurate, but I bet you elements of it are accurate, right? You know, that's what I would say. Like, if somebody made a video about me and they were just totally wrong, you know, and I saw it, you know, maybe, you know, I guess it would make you sort of feel bad about something. Yeah, I'm playing an interview right now, though. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just saying, like, about that part of it. I'm not apologizing for making my theory, you know. It is what it is, you know. I bet you law enforcement's not saying, sorry, we looked into you, you know.
For literally hours, almost every single day. And she was extremely cautious. She was very vigilant. I think that she really would have noticed something and she would have said it to us. She wasn't, you know, scared to get us involved in her life in any capacity like that.
I know you're frustrated with how much and how information, developments in the investigation
This is what this looks like
shared
right
with
here.
the public.
So.
Are they sharing anything with you that they're not sharing publicly in light of the fact that this was your sister, this was your daughter?
I'm not getting anything. They're not sharing much with me. I know that there's a separation in duties there. They do have the FBI now, so I don't know how much the individuals that I'm talking with, which are the local, are actually exercising their different jurisdictions. I think they might not know a lot because, you know, they have briefings, and if they haven't had a briefing, they probably don't know exactly what's going on.
I just showed it you
Are
the
they
screenshot,
contacting you at
Natra.
all? Are they keeping you updated more than they are, say, on the website? Or
There is a video. I'm not going to play you the video, though. It's CNN. It's on YouTube. Forget it. Just listen to it.
with these press briefings?
To be honest, they're not. I mean, yesterday I asked about the stalker question.
And I put the link in the description so you can go watch it on your own, okay?
And they couldn't confirm anything. And then today
I just showed you the screenshot, though. I slid it over.
The community saying that there's a stalker involved, so I don't know what to make of that.
It's okay, not your average chick.
A lot of
Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Mainly because you're not your
they're
average
just
chick.
so vague with everything that they say, and then they like slowly peel it back layer until you like find the real story. It all started with a sharp-edged weapon. What was the use in telling the community that a sharp-edged weapon was used instead of just coming out and telling us that it was a knife from the beginning? I don't understand the purposeness of being so vague. You're not holding the integrity of the case together by not telling anybody anything.
I understand you have frustrations for how police and investigators have handled the crime scene. What are those frustrations specifically?
Well, they expanded it, and there was volunteers that walked around, and they disclosed that they were looking and found different things. So, you know, they did share with me that that may have more to do with keeping cameras out than it actually does with evidence gathering. So I hope that that is indeed the case, because it would be pretty disheartening a week later to know that they didn't have the right crime scene.
One of the mother of one of the surviving roommates, so reminding our viewers, there were two roommates who were...
They expanded it, and there was volunteers that walked around, and they disclosed that they were looking and found different things. So, you know, they did share with me that that may have more to do with
The second.
keeping cameras out than
Zozo.
it actually does with evidence gathering. So I hope that is indeed the case.
That level
Because
doesn't
it would
matter,
be
though.
disheartening a week later.
I mean, just the fact that
to
it
know
was
that
sleeping on the second floor doesn't mean anything.
they didn't have the right crime scene.
One of the mother of one of the surviving roommates, so reminding our
It's easy to figure out DNA as long as it's not, if there's a major contributor, if it's mixed really well, it's hard to separate it.
viewers, there were two roommates who were upstairs and survived this. Told a reporter that those roommates heard
Colleen
something.
has told us
heard
that
something
before.
that night. Have you been told? Have you heard from sharing with other relatives of the other victims what that was exactly?
No, I would say for us that we did hear those rumors, but right now we can only leave it at that. None of that has ever been confirmed.
Survived this. Told a reporter that those roommates heard something that night. Have you been told? Have you heard from sharing with other relatives of the other victims what that was exactly?
No, I would say for us that we did hear those rumors, but right now we can only leave it at that. None of that has ever been confirmed to us.
We have not spoke with the roommates.
Yeah.
The surviving roommates, and they were downstairs, just to clarify that for you, sir.
Okay, downstairs, right, on a different floor from where it appears where the murders took place. One consistent thing, and granted, there's been some, changes as you note in how the police have described this. One consistent descriptor has been that the attack was targeted. Do you know if police believe one person in the house was the target of this attack, or all four?
I've been told it's one, but then again, there's the vagueness. It's purposely vague, I'm hoping, but it confuses everyone.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows what that really means, other than maybe somebody had a different kind of attack footprint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I feel like we just want some more. We all want to play a part in helping, and we can't play a part if we don't have any real substantial information to work from.
Yeah, I get it. You want to help. I mean, Olivia, you found video that has been helpful in this investigation. I'm sure you do want to help. Has anyone indicated to you that if it was indeed one person targeted, was Kaylee the target? Has anybody shared that with you?
They won't confirm who that was to us.
The police, that is.
We've heard the rumor that that's the case, but it's just a rumor at this point.
Yeah, this interviewer was just not even paying attention. As soon as that kid said, the police, that is, he should have said, oh, really? So who is, what else have you heard? Right away you should have asked that. Instead, the father really wanted to get this out. Watch how that played out. Listen to how it played out again. What?
They won't confirm who that was to us.
The police, that is.
We've heard the rumor that that's the case, but it's just a rumor at this point.
Tons and tons of rumors, but nothing from the police.
And I'll say I think a lot of those rumors do stem from all of the vagueness, and it's human nature to want answers. It's human nature to kind of put forth a theory so that you can even comprehend it in your brain. And so I think that's how we're getting all of some of these really, really off the wall theories, and some of these theories like Kaylee had a stalker, that even we're sitting here scratching our head saying, no, it couldn't be. If it was, it would be news to us.
Yeah.
I am sure it is frustrating. Your family has been very outspoken in support of Jack. He's Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. And on the Moscow police website, he is not listed, notably.
Stem from all of the vagueness, and it's human nature to want answers. It's human nature to kind of put forth a theory so that you can even comprehend it in your brain. And so I think that's how we're getting all of some of these really, really off the wall theories, and some of these theories like Kaylee had a stalker, that even we're sitting here scratching our head saying, no, it couldn't be. If it was, it would be news
I didn't hear him say that it was.
I am sure it is Kaylee the target.
Wait, so when did he say the state police said anything?
Has anybody shared that with you?
They won't confirm who that was to us.
The police, that is.
We've heard the rumor that that's the case, but it's just a rumor at this point.
Tons and tons of rumors, but nothing from the police.
And I'll say I think a lot of those rumors do stem from all of the vagueness, and
Yeah.
it's human nature to want answers. It's human nature to kind of put forth a theory so that you can even comprehend it in your brain. And so I think that's how we're getting all of some of these really, really off the wall theories.
I am going to take
some
calls,
of these theories
by the
like
way.
Kaylee had a stalker, that even we're sitting here scratching our heads saying, no, you know, it couldn't be. If it was, it would be news to us.
Yeah.
I am sure it is frustrating. Your family has been very outspoken in support of Jack. He's Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. And on the Moscow police website, though, he is not listed, notably, as someone who has been cleared in the investigation. To your knowledge, is that significant?
No, I don't personally think so, because I think that there's the entire rest of the world that's also not on
The
that
son
list,
didn't
people who have
think
been
that. He
cleared,
was shaking his head yes.
Including Maddie's boyfriend, including any associates of Xana or Ethan that might not be involved. I don't find that significant.
I mean,
at
the
all.
brother, I mean.
And there were a number of phone calls to him that night, and you say that would have been typical behavior for Kaylee, that she often would call friends, folks, you know, for a whole bunch of things.
At any time, yeah. Multiple times until I would pick up at 3 a.m. and be like, Kaylee, what? You know?
Yeah.
And some of the last footage of her at that food court, she's on her phone 24/7 filming the whole thing. So she lived on that phone. So
yeah. It sounds like you're saying that the delays here in sharing information, the delays in, well, frankly.
So Amber, where does it mention the state police thing that you
I
mentioned?
mean, the police have lost their best opportunity, right? I think, Olivia, you were saying that those early hours and days are key. That's when you can make real progress. Do you believe that they've missed their best chance here, or may have?
Not only is that's just not a matter of opinion, that's a matter of fact. If you look statistically at homicide cases, those first 10 days are so incredibly important in finding a suspect. They determine almost 9 out of 10 times, I believe it was, if you'll find a suspect. So yeah, that's not very encouraging to hear that they want to cast this wide net of suspects now. And people we know have no involvement.
So what was that part that you were talking about, Amber?
Our next guest is an eyewitness to the deadly shooting inside.
That's a different one. I'm Colleen's messaging me. She was saying that one of the cases should be done soon. I think that's the cigarette butt one that we were doing. All right. What does that mean? Come on, man. LOL. I don't get it. What is it? Way earlier, the dad said police told him. What do you mean way earlier? In this interview? Told him that someone was targeted, but didn't tell them who. I guess I missed that part. All right, hold on. Well, there's the phone numbers there. There you go. Yeah, see, it's weird now because everybody is crossed off, and now it's an unknown person that likely isn't really, part of like any inner circle of friends, anything like that. Huh? What does it mean? Colders may have... What does it even mean? Oh, God. I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to remove that comment. You'll have to write it better than that. That could be anyone campus, really, at this point. Yep, could be... No, you can't see it. It's in the description. Why do you need to see the people? They're just sitting there blankly staring at the camera talking. No, I just opened them up. The link's in the description, though, if you really want to go out and watch the video. So basically, Zozo wanted me to tell everybody that the link's in the description and go ahead and take off and go watch the video. I'm going to go do the rest of the show, though. I'm not going to play a CNN YouTube video. That's like, I mean, that's their video. Now, the press conferences by the Idaho State University, or University of Idaho, I mean, I think those are just public domain. You know, it's a state thing, it's a video, it's a press conference. It's not somebody's production. You know, sometimes on the news it's a little different, like missing persons, you play those, you know. It's just kind of... Alright, where is it? Let me see where anybody called in yet. Oh, there's somebody. Alright, call in user. Call in user.
Hey, Gray. This is Sean from Canada.
What's going on?
Hey, I've been on hold for a little bit, not begrudgingly, but I missed some of the interview. I was watching the chat, so with this, I just want to say, like, this guy that you brought up earlier, way earlier, days ago, kind of this guy in the background. He's been cleared, as we know.
You mean the guy at the grub truck video?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they said they don't believe he's a suspect or anything like that. They've cleared him 3 times now. They just today finally cleared the boyfriend, which right. That's why it seemed really like they were looking at him. Okay, so I mean that's why I don't know if I just put together really early in that process there, but they were already looking at him. Obviously, the police. I didn't know that, but once his name was mentioned in New York Times, and then you look it up and you find out that there was a phone call made, then it's pretty crazy, really. But
yeah,
but it turns out it's
like
they cleared it, so that's it.
You see when the girls kind of split from getting the food, that he realizes they're getting in a cab, and he kind of darts away, looking like, "Hey, I'm gonna either leave or follow." But I could see that one. But I just wanted to confirm that. I know I've been kind of listening off and on over the last couple of days, just been busy. But one of the things that I was kind of thinking about too, it's like it does feel like I know you mentioned like a friend that might have been there earlier, and wouldn't it have been they would have known some people are in the basement. Like maybe they would have known that. Like so they went up, didn't go down, and killed these. It's so sad, but I mean, like it. You would think that if it was somebody who knew everybody that was in there, a friend, that they would know that, like, man, there's people downstairs, there's people in the main floor, there's people upstairs. It feels like, and I said this in the chat at one point. I said, like, it feels like a Ted Bundy-esque of a sorority where it's just this manic killer. I'm not saying that it's like some serial killer, but just like I know Ted Bundy would get drunk and kind of get into his ways, but it seems like it could have easily have been just some random person walking by, and at night when you see lights on in the house, and especially there you see some, they're pretty girls, it's late at night, and you see that and you just think, I'll go in on the main floor and kind of do what you have to do there, and then make your way upstairs and not even think about anybody even being in a basement. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just something more that route. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, that's what we've said that many times, but that it could just be that he just came in on the second floor and didn't even realize. It's even possible he didn't even realize there was a first floor down there, because it's a really odd shaped building. It kind of has this really small first floor, and then it spreads out into the second floor, and then a small third floor.
Right, yeah, it is kind of strange. It almost feels like kind of ground level is second floor, and like the first floor is kind of, it's open. It's not in a basement because it's like dug out and kind of exposed, but it still feels kind of like if you're walking by and you're looking up and you see, because like I saw the night photos of that, and the bed's right there, the lights are on, and at night, you know, you can kind of see, you easily see people up there, and if they're, you know, chit-chatting, and you just see some people up there, and you kind of go like, well, this is an opportunity, but you're on the main floor, and I mean, it's so crazy. I mean, how it all happened, to think that it's somebody that they knew and they're not really found quickly. I mean, I don't know. It's just something, maybe it just, sadly, could just be some passerby just saw it and thought this is an opportunity. Not saying it's a serial killer type of person, but just somebody who just pounced on an opportunity.
Well, I mean, but that is a serial killer type of person that would do that.
Type, yeah, right. Well, just a drunk that went crazy. I mean, yeah, maybe you're right in that sense for sure. But that's something that I thought about that when you were mentioning, you know, if it's a friend that was already there, knew that house, you would think that they would know, like, you know, there's people down in the basement too, or not in the basement, on that first floor. You know what I mean? They know that they have to kind of squash everybody. If it's somebody that they all know, that they have to kind of get rid of everybody. Because if this is just kind of getting rid of people to know, to get to one person, you'd get rid of everybody, especially if you knew the house. You'd know, like, everybody. There's, you know, 2 rooms in that first floor, the main floor, and then upstairs, and you wouldn't just kind of do, sadly, the 4 of them, and then leave the other 2 there to either hear them or come up and see them or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is there's like a billion different theories, but to me it seems like they went in there and they targeted the 4 people. They went in there, and I think it, like, we're just trying to make it make sense. Like, okay, he went in there, maybe he thought the girl, his target was in the first room, but then after he killed them, he looked at him because it was dark and went, oh my god, that's not who I wanted to kill. Then makes his way upstairs and kills the other. But I mean, then that's just sort of like trying to make something work. The reality is this person went in there and killed 4 people, and likely intended to kill all 4 of those people when he went in, and killed them all while they were sleeping. So maybe, you know, it's sort of like, well, how do we figure out why? And if one of them was the target, why did he kill the other? Okay, so let's say the target was actually Zaina for some reason. Okay, well, why'd you go upstairs and go out of your way to go upstairs to kill the other 2? Okay, well, okay. So let's say the target is Madison or Kaylee, either one. So first you kill these other people downstairs, then you go all the way upstairs and kill 2 more people. So that doesn't make much sense to me either. So, you know,
seems like such a savage.
It's a lot of work. You know, it's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot of work. Like, it seems so. Yeah, it says it's like a savage attack of, like, either it's like it doesn't seem pre-planned. It seems like in the moment, just going for it type of thing. Like, you know, not like some pre-thought out thing. It's just kind of a drunken, savage attack, and kind of getting rid of as many witnesses, or like you said, maybe that you stumbled upon the room and was like, oh, this isn't the right people or whatever. But kind of carnage for sure. But if you don't mind, I just wanted to ask you a question about something. Can I go to the Delphi case at all?
Yeah, I got a bunch of callers though. If you can ask it really quick.
I'll ask it quick. One of the things that I thought was when the defense lawyer for Richard Allen brought up, like, the Kleins, and I don't know if you've mentioned this at all, but like when he was talking about Keegan Klein, he acted like he had never heard it. I know that you were mentioning it last night, but if he's acting like he didn't hear that name at all,
I'm sure he had.
Wouldn't he have seen, but wouldn't he have seen that name if it was in that statement that's been sealed, right? Like, he would have been seeing these names. If they're trying to protect the Kleins, he would have seen that. Oh, they're trying.
No, but they're not. I don't think it's going to be Keegan Klein or the, or, you know, it's not Ron Logan or Keegan Klein. That that they think somebody else is involved. It's not Kagan, or Kagan might be involved like on the periphery somewhere, but it's not going to be. That's not who they're talking about, because if they were, they would have just said it, because everybody's been aware of that, right? They wouldn't have been, oh, we need to hide it from Kagan. He's already in jail. There's nothing to really hide. So it's either maybe Kagan's dad or some other random person that we're not aware of, but it's definitely not Ron Logan, because he's dead. That you don't need to protect anything there. You would just say, yeah, we think maybe it was, that's who we think it might have been there at the crime scene. So I think it kind of rules out that law enforcement believes Ron Logan or Kagan Klein is the murderer, part of the murder itself. He may have gotten a felony murder charge if it turns out like it's his dad, like that's what they would have charged him with. But that's usually just used as an overcharge to then negotiate down with. And maybe that's what he's doing, but we'll see how that goes. But.
Right. I thought with the idea that these things are sealed in order to not mess up an investigation on somebody else, possibly, like we were always talking about the Kleins being involved, that name would have been in that affidavit saying, like, Kagan Klein led them to A, B, or C, which then apprehended this or got us to this evidence of Richard Allen. So that's why they wanted to kind of keep that.
Well, I mean, if that's what it was. See, my thing is, I think the affidavit is probably really, it left out as much as they could. Like, I bet you they left out as much as they could out of that thing to not give. It was just enough for the probable cause to be met. But whatever they could leave out and have it still meet that standard, they left out of that thing. So I don't know if it's mentions his name. It might even just say a person who runs a online child pornography ring, and that's all they said, something like that. Maybe Kagan's name.
Right.
I don't know. If Kagan's name might not even be in it or something. I don't know how they're doing it.
Just the fact that the lawyer acted so. There's this Kagan Klein and like acting like he had never heard the name, which again, I know they could just be placating to the media. I understand that, but if it was in the actual document, you would assume that, oh, of course we know this name. This is the one that's right there. But he was referring to outside sources mentioning these names, so as though it wasn't in the affidavit. That was something that was kind of like, in hindsight, you kind of think like, okay, well then maybe that's not necessarily the tie, but maybe deep down, police are really trying to like take this either Kagan Klein or this whole pedophile ring. If it all comes down to this gross, disgusting ring, and saying, you know what, we're gonna get all of you. Like any one of you guys that were talking to these girls, sending photos around before anything even happened, but then led up in hindsight to these girls dying on this at this bridge. We're getting all of you. We're not just getting you for sharing photos of other kids. No. We're gonna get anybody who talked and even said anything about these girls at all. We're gonna lump you in. We're gonna make you. It's like a RICO case. We're gonna get you all in. I don't care if you're the getaway driver. In terms of like a bank robbery and a murder goes down.
Well, we're already going way too long in the Delphi, but yeah, I mean, felony murder is just really just used to, have this huge charge, and you're able to use it as a negotiating tool to get more information on the actual killer. So. Right. And so there might be this whole like outfit, like a a ring. But it sounds like they're really focusing. We think there's somebody else, like almost like one other person that was involved in the murders. And then in that document today, I don't know if you were on the earlier show, but I will.
Yeah, I was.
I will read this one. It's the Carroll County Prosecutor's Office appreciates the judge hearing our arguments yesterday morning and looks forward to her ruling. As I stated in court yesterday, we strongly believe the evidence shows Richard Allen was involved in the murder of Abby and Libby. Because the investigation is ongoing and given the intense public interest in the case, we think It would be best if the documents remain sealed, regardless of the ruling. However, we believe we have a very solid case against Mr. Allen and look forward to making our argument in trial. And then we know that at the press conference, or whatever it was, I can't remember, no, in court, he said that they believe somebody else was involved in the murder. So you put all that together, and I think they think there's one other person, and who that is, because the murder sheet has been focused on Tony Klein for a long time, and that just sort of makes a little bit more sense that maybe he, who's almost the exact same age as Richard Allen, maybe they knew each other. Who knows? But you might not have known any. That's just allegedly a rumor, a possibility, but it definitely is somebody that they were interested in.
Right. Sorry to kind of get you off track with the Delphi stuff, but that was something that I just wanted to bring up.
That's okay.
And yeah, nonetheless, hey man, you're the best in the business, no doubt about it. And I just want to say I appreciate you and the Freaks. I'm a part of the Freak family too, and all the best. Get to your other calls there, brother.
Well, what's your name again? I'm going to put it over here.
Man, I go by Case Cracked, and
Case Cracked. Okay. Yeah, I've seen you in there.
I have the Dog the Bounty Hunter. I know you don't like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a long story, man. With my friends, we just call each other young blood and stupid stuff. It's just a dumb thing, but it's a rolling joke, but nonetheless.
That's funny. All right. Yeah. Well, now I know it's not as negative as it might have been.
No, it's not annoying. It's a dumb joke between friends. When he was actually kind of cool, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, thanks, Gray.
All right,
thanks,
man.
Freak.
Thanks, Case Cracked. All right, see you later. Case Cracked. Thanks, Zozo. She's in the no-no. Zozo. She ain't no bozo. Let's see. Oh, man. The caller just hung up right before I was about to take them. Oh, well. 937.
Hi. How you doing?
Pretty good. Who's this?
This is Debbie in Tennessee.
You're not going to be a downer, are you?
They should be called Donna Downers, not Debbie Downers.
Okay.
I think Donna Downers sounds better.
Yeah, it makes more sense. Yeah. All right. What's going on?
Well, when I first heard about this case, the first time I heard about it, they said there was no reason for the public to be worried. And I thought, well, that means it's probably a murder-suicide. And then later I found out, that's not the case, but they're still saying the public's okay, don't worry about it. And that made me think, and then they're saying it's targeted, and now, you do need to worry. But it's making me think that maybe the killer left a message of some sort. If he, left a written
signature. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah, something with one of the victims that made it apparent that was the target. But he went ahead and killed probably everybody he could find, is what I'm thinking. He was so upset or crazed or whatever.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it could be somebody, that's been in the house just through the back door, at a party or whatever. Didn't even know those two girls were in the first floor. But also, I think this is probably something he fantasized about for a while, and then he finally was set off, or he knew Kaylee was about to graduate, and he was not going to have an opportunity if he didn't go ahead and do it. And so it makes me feel like he has the gloves, he's got the knife, he had himself, covered up so that he wouldn't leave as much evidence as he could not.
Well, you can use a knife in a way. Well, I mean, it sounds like there was like blood on the walls and things like that, but
right.
I don't know. That could be cast off from the knife, but there's there might be a way where you could do it where you sort of minimize you getting blood on yourself. Everybody thinks that you're always just covered with blood, and even in the Delphi case, they said the way the girls were killed, that the killer would have to be covered in blood. But I don't necessarily think so. I think if somebody is, like Travis Alexander was, like on his stomach, and then somebody cuts their, neck, for lack of, I mean, it's just, that is what it is. Well, the blood's going to shoot out like in the other direction from where you are. You know, if you're on, you know, looking at them, straddling a person or something, and you're looking straight down at them, and they're on their back, well, maybe then it would do something like that. But I don't know.
And that was the other thing, is that it's very strange to me how they're saying there's multiple stab wounds in the upper body, yet there was one blow that was the fatal blow. And then could that mean that he cuts the throats, or we know for sure?
It could mean that. Yeah, it could mean that.
I mean, that's how I'm looking at that.
Like they were stabbed multiple times, and then each one of them maybe was killed the same way, you know.
Right. Or the throat was first, because they're immediately quiet, and they're still alive.
Yeah, and then maybe the rest of the stabbing was to get out the rage, whatever they were feeling.
Right. And then if he was had a jumpsuit on or something that he could just strip off after he left the house. I mean, if he thought this out.
Sounds like he was disorganized the way they described it, like he was kind of, you know.
Yeah, that's the part I don't know. When they say it was messy or sloppy,
I mean, if they have a DNA sample, it sounds like, based on all the crap that's going on, you know, like we said originally, now the profilers are all saying the same thing. But yeah, when you're stabbing somebody that many times, you get blood on the knife, and then your hand can slip on it and then cut yourself, and then you can actually leave blood at the scene. So they're going to have to test all these different spots of blood, because you can't really tell who the blood's coming from just looking at it. So you're going to have to test different spots. If it's mixed, and it's mixed neatly, like, you know, 50-50, it's almost impossible to extract the two with the current, well, it's not impossible, but it's very difficult with the current technology. But when you have like a major contributor, then it's easier to subtract out the other one.
But they're going to know what their DNA profile, all 4 DNA profiles, and it seems like, you know, the computer, however they do it, could subtract out that DNA and see what's left.
No, see, Lillian says, not caught yet. Can't be too sloppy. That's not true. You can be really sloppy, and it's just, you got lucky. Like, if all you left there was DNA, for example, and you're not in CODIS or anything, then it's going to take a long time for them to tell who you are, right? Like, you could have just been the worst criminal in the world. You're not on camera, though, and you're from somewhere else. You go in there, you kill all those people, and absolutely just left stuff all over the place. But the only way they're going to tell who you are is through DNA, and then you have to do, if you're not in CODIS, then you have to go to like forensic genetic genealogy or something like that, right? So, I mean, it sounds like they said that it was not, the crime scene was, what was the term they used? It was messy. Like, they didn't really do the things that they're supposed to be doing. Right.
Well, in that, you know, because some people are saying
like
they think it was in a fit of rage. They just got really mad and just did it. I mean, that's possible. But they're very lucky that they haven't.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. If the person wore gloves and they went in there and they were in a rage and they didn't cut their hand, then how in the hell do you figure out who this person is if they're an unknown person? It's very difficult. I mean, you're talking about, so even if it's totally sloppy and they're just in there hacking away and killing people, as long as they didn't leave a hair fiber or any DNA and they're not on camera, then how in the hell do you figure out who this person is? I mean, it's really difficult. And no cell phone.
Also, I think whoever this person is going to keep the knife forever. So,
you know, I always think it's funny when people they take the knife and they throw it into a creek or a river. You know, isn't that ridiculous? I mean, here's what. By the way, you know what I would do, everybody, if I was a criminal with a knife? I would drive out into the forest somewhere without my cell phone, dig a little hole that's about 2 inches wide and 2 feet deep. Put the knife in there, cover it up with dirt, and then maybe put some bushes around it, and that'll never be found in the history of the planet. Okay? I mean, that's the truth, right? But everybody goes, woo, and they just huck it into a creek like a total moron. You know, I really, I don't really I don't understand that. Yeah, ooh. You know, the thing is, if you ever watch those treasure hunter shows, you know, like on YouTube where they're diving under the water, and guys pull out these guns underneath bridges, and then the cops show up and they go, oh, wow, that's interesting. Tell you what, we'll check it out, and then we'll give it back to you if we can. Look it. Every one of those guns was involved in a crime, likely even a murder. There isn't one gun that's ever been found under a bridge that wasn't used for something nefarious. Can you think of a reason somebody would just be driving around going, oh shit, I don't like my gun anymore, and just huck it out the window? I mean, nobody does that, right?
Threw it out the window. Oh dear.
Right. So it's weird how they're always so cavalier and just, whatever.
You know, the police act like, oh, wow, that's interesting. Well, to me, they should keep it as evidence that could be pertinent to a past crime that wasn't solved. But
it's crazy how they do
that's
it's just weird how they do
We're not interested.
Yeah. But anyways, anything else? I got 3 more calls.
It was just my signature theory. That's what I wanted to mention.
I like that one though.
So,
I think that one's pretty. I like that one because if there was a signature that like maybe put somebody's name on something, you know, then you'd know. Right. Wow, okay, that's why it was targeted. Okay, so all right, cool.
Yeah, and that would make it very clear, but they're not going to tell us.
You're right. Okay. Well, thanks for calling in. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, 310.
Hi, Grace.
Hello.
This is Amanda.
Amanda?
Yes.
Well, what's going on?
So I just, not so much like theory or question, but just a couple observations from the 2 press conferences, and then just, in my opinion, crappy reporting on it.
Oh, are you Amanda Johnson? The one in the chat there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. A freak. There's a lot of Amandas out there. All right, cool. All right, go ahead.
Yes. So the first, I keep seeing that people say, oh, the hoodie guy, they found out he was an avid hunter, even though they're saying that they don't suspect him of the crime. It's rural Idaho. I grew up in a pretty rural area in West Virginia. Everybody has knives. Everybody has guns. That's not a weird thing. So I don't think that's really something indicative of that person's guilt necessarily. I know a lot of people that never grew up in rural areas might look at that and think it's weird, but when you grow up out in the middle of nowhere, you carry a knife with you, even if you're just going to the grocery store.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is like a military knife. I mean, what point are you trying to make about that, I guess?
I just, people keep bringing that up as like a sign of guilt, but I would...
By who?
Bet a lot of money.
I mean,
just people in the chat.
I mean, by having a knife, you're guilty? What do you mean?
No, by saying that he was an avid hunter and that he did own knives, it has to be him.
Oh, who are you referring to?
The hoodie guy.
The hoodie guy? Oh, yeah. Yeah, people are all looking. Yeah. I haven't even looked into that guy once they said, oh, yeah, he's clear. I just don't give a shit anymore. It's like at that point, I don't even, like anybody talking about him, I just go, yeah, well, they've cleared him. They don't think he has anything to do with it.
Exactly. The second thing, and I appreciated what they did at the press conference today, because they kind of went into their procedure of how they go through the crime scene to better explain it to people. Because everyone is saying that this is taking too long. And I get that when there's a scary situation like this, even an hour can seem like forever because people are scared. I get that.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that people don't understand, I worked at a level 1 trauma center in LA as an ED nurse for several years.
Oh, cool.
And we would get stabbing victims. When they say that it's a messy crime scene, I don't necessarily think that, what they're saying was, there was a big fight put up, or it's just stabbing in and of itself is messy, especially with a knife of that size. We got this one, and I don't want to get too graphic, but I had one patient once that came in, and he had been stabbed in the stomach. There was fecal matter and blood everywhere. And that was just one stab wound. So when they say it's a messy crime scene, it's not just the one person, it's the 4 people. And so what they said about the commingling of blood is absolutely true. So if they're testing blood that they find, droplets, smears, that's going to take a long time to try to isolate those individual DNA profiles in those samples.
Yep.
And so I think a lot of people don't understand when they say it's a messy crime scene, or like that article from the Daily Mail that you read, I think 2 days ago, when they said there was, quote, a mess of evidence. I don't know that the average person would think about it that way unless they've seen it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but it might not be what they're referring. I mean, I've seen a lot of crime scenes on. I have this book that's it's really ridiculous. It's like a 600-page book from. I forgot the name of it. It's four detectives and everything. It's like a $300 book that has pictures of all these different crimes and various things and what to look for and everything. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and I mean that alone, that's going to take a long time for them to go through that, even if they're processing it all right away as quickly as possible. Because when you think about it, let's say, for example, that the killer did cut his hand. You're looking for essentially a drop of blood in an ocean of blood. I mean, that could.
Yeah, I mean, what you got to do is just kind of like, you got to, like, what if I was them? Well, if you have a huge pool of blood, you probably don't, you don't really need to, I don't know, it's hard to say to even test that one, but I would test all of the any little individual drops that are that leave a room, for example, like drops that are leaving the room in that direction. I would test all of those, because those are either blood from the victim that the killer left, and those drops left with him, or they're blood that came from him, like with a cut finger. So those have really good chance of being. And then if there's larger areas, maybe just test the single droplet areas. The big pools, you might do one. I don't know. It's hard to say what to do on that.
I mean, you would have to. Yeah, you would have to imagine, though, if he's going from like room to room killing people, that there was also probably quite a bit of blood dripping off the knife in that same way that you would imagine, like if someone cut their hand.
Unless he sort of wiped it off each time or whatever, but we don't really know. But there's got to be some blood that was kind of heading towards the door, maybe even on the doorknob. But if he wore a gloves and the knife never slipped, then all you had to do was kill them. Wipe the knife, move on to the next place. I mean, you wouldn't even need to wipe the knife, really, but it's just. I mean, this is a crazy story. It seems like these kind of things haven't happened in a long time. This is really sort of somewhat rare-ish. Normally these are the things from 1970 to like 85. There was weird shit like this, but this is different. But
you brought up something else that I thought about as well, when you said, maybe he was wearing gloves. It's really cold there, so chances are he probably would have been wearing gloves, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's hard to know what he was doing. It's possible that he was waiting in the house already after the 2 other girls were there, and then just waiting for these people to show up. And it's sort of weird because I wonder what time, if they've been able to determine what time Ethan and Zena were killed, because we know that Maddie and hold on, my brain just can't remember. Kaylee was. They were they were awake all the way up till 2:52. Now you could go, well, the killer is the one that. Well, no. Let's just rule out that the killer used the phone, because why would the text try to do a spoof or whatever, and using two people's phone to try to call the same person.
That's just getting too
Doesn't make any
elaborate.
sense. Yeah, I think it's literally they did try to call. So they were up at 2:52, and so was the person just waiting around, or did they come in after? Because here's the thing: is those roommates heard something. It feels like after 1 o'clock they would have gone to sleep, and they've been really deep into sleep at around 1:45 ish, and maybe wouldn't have heard something. I mean, there might be a lot more to that whole thing there. Those girls. So
yeah. The other thing I wanted to bring up, they said that Xana put up a fight.
And before I move on, I don't want to be misheard there. When I said a lot more to the two other roommates, not that they have anything to do with it, but what they may have heard or seen or anything. Okay.
Yeah. Got it. Mm-hmm. I understood what you meant. But the father, or Xana's father, said that she did put up a fight because she had bruises and marks on her body. And I've seen in chats and comments on your videos that Xana put up a fight. The killer's probably laying low right now because he'd be banged up too. But Xana was tiny. Just because she fought like hell doesn't mean he even has a mark on him. She was, from the photos I've seen, she looks like a pretty small girl.
Well, it sounds like she had maybe defensive wounds and some bruises. So, what does that mean? Maybe she was blocking things that he was doing, not necessarily throwing blows herself,
Exactly. And even if she did, I mean, she looks small, in my opinion.
And they're probably all really intoxicated, too, so...
Exactly. So I don't know how much damage she really could have done. Yeah. Exactly. And then another thing, just from being in the medical field, that I know, when EMS is dispatched, even if, the caller says they're in a giant pool of blood, they're blue, they're ice cold, they'll still dispatch that call as an unconscious person. So do we know, did the roommate say they're unconscious, or it was just dispatched as an unconscious person?
Yeah.
I haven't heard which way that went.
Yeah, I don't really know about that.
Okay. The last thing I just wanted to get your thoughts on, a lot of, I've seen in my feed of recommended videos, people saying that they're going to be live streaming the vigil. I'm kind of 50-50 on that. Do you think that that's
Wait, can you say that again? Somebody just sent me something. I was like, whoa. Oh, sorry about that. Say that part again.
No problem. When I go onto YouTube, it comes up in my feed. A lot of people are going to be, all these true crime channels are going to be live streaming the vigil that they're going to be holding. I think it's
I'm not gonna do the vigil.
Yeah, that was my question, because I'm kind of I don't know, that just kind of feels.
That's when you're exploiting something. You're sort of ooh, I'm so emotionally connected. I really, listen. None of the people, I don't know the family members. I feel bad for them and everything like that, but I don't have any sort of emotional connection, and nobody really does. Everybody says it. You feel bad, when you picture what happened to them. It's wow. But I swear to God, if you're in the true crime world and you get really emotionally attached and start crying and everything, you shouldn't be even in the genre altogether. It's not good for your mental health or anything like that. And these little what do you call them? The ceremonies. What is it called? The candlelight vigil. I'm not sure what. I think people are going to film it and then pretend that they're looking for people in the audience, the crowd or something. That's what they're going to do. Ooh, look at that guy there. Ooh, look at him. It's going to be a nightmare.
So we're just going to start creating trouble for more people that are just trying to cope.
Hey, hold on a second. Hey, good night, P.S. Did you still want to keep bashing people in the head? She's going to bed. But I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be covering that.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that and it made me just feel very uneasy. I was like, I don't know really what the point of that.
But you want to hear
would be
something
beyond,
crazy? Is
like-
everybody in here that's going, yeah, that's kind of weird? They're all going to be on those other channels watching it. That's the,
Yeah.
that's the reality of it.
I'm
That's the
gonna go
reality.
undercover to see what's going on.
And that's why I don't benefit often, because I don't do those types of things. The sensationalism play, you know.
Yeah, but you can sleep peacefully at night as well, and I don't know that those people can say the same thing.
Yeah, no, I have no problem. I'm proud of what we do over here, on all aspects, every
Agreed.
single element of it.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. And the last thing, it has nothing to do with this case, but the other day someone sent a super chat saying that you had no chill, and you were like, I don't know what that means, and it basically means like you're always on, you don't have an off day.
Oh, you don't have? I thought it meant like I don't mellow out. Not
No,
mellow.
no, it just means like you're always on it, like ready to go. It was when you were pretending to do like the spirit box sounds, and they
okay.
said you have no chill.
Oh, I
So
see.
you're like, I don't know what that means. It just means that like you're always on and like ready to go.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I learned something new. I guess I'm too old, but anyways. All right. Well, thank you
That was
for
it.
calling in. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a
Amanda.
good night.
Hey, good information there with the medical stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good Thanksgiving, Chris.
Oh, you too. Bye bye. Amanda Johnson. Oh, there's the. Let's see. Hold on. All right. 517. You're on.
Hi, Gray. This is Lisa from Michigan. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Great. I'm a first-time caller. I know you're a straight shooter, so I won't.
What's your name again?
go
I
into-
missed the name.
Oh, Lisa. Lisa from Michigan.
Oh, Lisa from Michigan. Okay, I remember the Michigan, but
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I found you when you were covering the Stephanie and Paige missing girls from, I believe, Wilmington, North Carolina. And you were like spot on. They crashed, and
Oh yeah.
you ended up like. So anyway, I found you there. Anyway, I just wanted to say
That was
I've been
crazy. That's
following
when
you
that's
since.
when Cairo was on the scene for us.
Yes, yes.
With his blue Nikes.
Yeah, that was so.
Wasn't that great with his blue Nikes? He had,
Yes.
let's see, what did he have on? He had like some sort of, I can't remember the color pants, but brown paisley shirt, and then some sort of like black pants, and then actually the color of this shirt, Nike sneakers. He loves those sneakers too. He tells me every day. Yeah, I love those sneakers. He's never going to live that one down for me though. I mean, they just stuck out like a sore thumb. It was amazing. But
Yeah, so that's when I found your channel. I'm like, I was kind of confused because you were the first like person that I followed like in true crime. That like, well, because you know all the computer and technology, and you had all these like memes and sounds, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot for me. But I followed you because you were spot on with that when all the crazy rumors are going on, and I continue to follow you through that. So I've been following you with the homicides in Idaho, and of course it's all tragic. And
what did they end up? Well, just to go back, what did they end up saying happened? Was there ever a final ruling, like it was a murder-suicide or anything?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I'm so glad that, because I'm like, I wanted to bring it up, and I've like brought it up in the chat, but I'm like not like a membership subscriber, so I've always loved to talk to you about that. Yeah, no, you were pretty much spot on, because you were like, remember, you're like, if they went through that stop sign, they would have landed right through there where it was the guy in the, what was it, a U-Haul or a Ryder truck that saw them, but they came out and couldn't find him. No, I think that, I believe it was Stephanie that was driving. They were both drunk. They were like beer cans all in there, and they just believed that she was drunk, and Stephanie, it sounded like, had a temper, was very jealous in some other relationships, and she was fine without alcohol, but it sounded like maybe, I don't know if they were fighting. She pushed on the gas, and they ended up going in there, and I don't know that they ever found out, was it purposeful, or did she just do that because she was pissed, and that's how it ended up. But yeah, really tragic, incredibly tragic.
So it just turns out it was an accident.
Yeah, it was an accident.
Yeah.
Whether the one girl actually meant to do that, I think she just lost her temper and they were partying, and unless her foot slipped on the gas.
Yeah, it seems like to me, I felt like I felt like it was maybe intentional by one of them, because I thought one of them was leaving the other one, but.
And I do believe you're correct. I believe at least it was stated maybe by
what were their names
Paige's
again?
Family.
What were their Paige? And
Stephanie, I think it was Stephanie Mallorca or something like that, and Paige. I don't recall her last name. I joined a Facebook group way back then that her family was involved in.
Oh, there it is. I found it. It's Missing Paige Escalera and Stephanie Mayorga. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
That was
crazy.
it.
What was the where did we? I'm just looking at this really fast. That's a whole different case. Where did it go over? I'm trying to find where it went in. I just want to show people on the screen. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, I can't see it because I'm on the phone with you, but no, it was amazing to me. That's like what hooked me into you, because like you were like spot on with everything that you're able to do, like with the maps and how you were able to figure that out. It just really blew my mind.
Yeah, that's right. This guy that was driving a truck, he was right over here, and he said that he saw them driving by really fast, and he was going the other direction. And they even said he heard something, but police went over here. So the car was zipping down this road right here, right? And the 911 call was at 11:52 p.m., and the police arrived at 11:59. The police went over here and walked around and didn't see anything. And then like 2 weeks later or whatever, I don't know if it was 2 weeks, but like a week later they came.
I think it was. Yeah, it was a week or two for sure.
Yeah, then a week later, it turns out the car went just like this. It went straight through this intersection, hit the curb, jumped in the air, flew through over here, and landed in the water over here, like in this swamp. And then Cairo actually went and walked down. He went down this little path and filmed right where the car was found. Then you could look up through the trees back that way. That was pretty cool. That was an interesting.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
No, and so I didn't realize that's who Cairo was, and like I said, I had just found you through watching them, and I'm like, wow. Like I said, all the sounds and everything in the beginning, I didn't really kind of get that, and, but you were like right on and straight to the point, and like I listen, like when people say, oh, he's so mean, but like you're just a straight shooter, and I kind of like, if I understand kind of what's going on, and the people are like blah blah blah, and I'm like, yeah, I already know what you're saying, just get to the point. So I kind of get that about you, and I think it's really cool. Most people think I just like, oh, you interrupt. I'm like, I don't mean to interrupt, but if I already know the answer and you're trying to explain, you're going to make me crazy.
Yeah, it almost feels like a little patronizing when somebody sits there and they're telling you all the basic stuff, and it's like, yeah, we already know that. Thanks. Yeah, we already know that.
Move along, right?
Right. Yeah. So, what do you want to say about this case, then?
So and that's actually what I called in for. So I was all for definitely, I mean, it does feel like, I mean, to me, obviously, the hoodie guy, I mean, he looks super suspicious, whatever. They're ruling people out, or at least for now. And, of course, totally get people are pissed that, the police aren't giving anything away, but they can't, right? I mean, that would just be ridiculous if they did. So they made some mistakes in the beginning, I'm sure, but
I made a Facebook post. We have this. We converted an old Facebook group into this case, and then like 4,000 people have joined it. And I made a post. I go, clowns, you quit bitching about the press conferences, not giving out all this information that you want. They are scheduled press conferences. They're just updates. They're just updating us. They're not going to dramatically, if all of a sudden the press conferences stop, and then one is called, then there might be significant information in that one. But these are just regular press conference. The press conference today was scheduled right after the last one. I went to right after that was done. I went to get the URL for the press conference on the 20th, and the one for the 23rd was already sitting there, scheduled, ready to go. So it was already going to happen. So the next one might be in 3 more days, right? Like, who knows?
Right. And of course, if they didn't have them, then people are going to complain. You're not having any press conferences, right? So they're kind of stuck. You get that. So my first thought is obviously, somebody, once I realized like how the back of their house went and how it goes down, and if you're on that other side, you can pretty much see it, and they're partying all the time, lights are always on, right? Like there must have been somebody that maybe, whatever, walking by, they kind of came across this, and maybe they've been watching for a long time, binoculars, whatever. Somebody that's got issues, childhood, mother issues, whatever. Somebody loner type, I think would be typical, thinking the last person that they killed probably was their target. And so, my whole thought, which I think a lot of people are thinking is probably because she's so much out in the news, is Kaylee. It must be, I think, because she's out there, she's really, from at least what they're showing, that's right. Very outgoing. She came home. I see people who are like, oh my God, how'd she get the Range Rover? Well, from what I read or heard from her family, it's a 2016 Range Rover. She just got hired at in some place in Austin, Texas, got a great sign-on bonus. She probably used some of that money and bought herself this, it's not like a brand new Range Rover. Now, granted, I have no clue what a 2016 Range Rover
So how do you know
costs,
about
but-
like sign-on bonuses and things like that?
What was that?
How do you know about sign-on bonuses and like where is
I'm
it?
pretty sure that somebody in her family, maybe it's her sister Olivia, correct? And I have to go back and see if I saved it or can find it, had mentioned that she got a good sign-on bonus for the job that she was taking in Austin, because she had just come home, or not home, to the house to show Maddie the Range Rover. She, I guess, was pretty much graduated or getting ready to. She was done with classes, but had got hired on by a company in Austin doing, I think, her degrees in marketing or something like that. That's just like, that's just what I saw. So who knows, right? That could be a whole nother story.
Right.
So my whole thing is all that, right?
Do you have the well? What do you got for like? Do you have a theory or something you want to share? Or?
Yeah. So like mine was pretty much like where everyone is going. What all of a sudden tonight, and I have no clue, but there's something that popped in my head tonight when they were doing the Q&A on the presser, and somebody asked, well, what could people do to not have this happen or whatever, or like what could they have done? And what they mentioned is like be in pairs, blah, 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 right? Well, all the 4 people who died were doing all that, right?
Doing what?
They were in pairs.
Oh, in pairs.
They were like, like be in pairs, call people, don't go out alone, but just 4
be
people
in
were
pairs.
killed.
I thought you said impaired.
Yeah.
But you mean in
Oh, no,
pairs,
I'm
like there
sorry.
were two. Oh, yeah.
Right. And so people were saying, like, in the comments, like, well, the people that died, they were doing that. And that was my first thought, like, right. Like, whatever. They're going to tell you what they need to, right? But then all of a sudden I thought something hit me, and I'm like, the only people that they mentioned that were not in pairs that night are the 2 girls who survived. Now, I totally don't believe they had anything to do with any of this. Like, those rumors.
Well, yeah, but whenever you
don't
say
buy
that, it makes it sound like you do think that. See, here's the thing: when everybody
No,
goes,
no, no,
I,
no.
well, listen, I'm not, I don't think the kid.
No.
Well, that, it's
no,
like one of those.
no. What it made me think was there somebody that was actually targeting one of the girls that were in? I don't believe they had anything to do with the deaths. I don't believe that they knew anything. And I don't even know. This is kind of.
Well, here's the
far
thing:
out.
what if the 2 girls that were already there heard something, or saw something? Well, wouldn't maybe I guess they could possibly be. I don't know. They might have.
My only thing was.
I think there might have been somebody there waiting
the 2 girls-
around for the other people when they got home.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
My
a
only thought was
possibility.
because they suggested that everyone go out in pairs, and the only people that they said the 2 girls that were safe.
Well,
they
let me
went
just
out
say this though. I think that see, if there's somebody that was in the house already, that means they were hiding, because Ethan, Zaina, Kaylee, and Maddie wouldn't go to sleep with some weirdo sitting in the living room or that you're looking at, and they wouldn't leave their door unlocked. You can bet money on that. So it's either somebody hiding, or somebody showed up again after like 3 o'clock in the morning and went in through probably. Well, it could have gone in through any of the doors and just went up the stairs, and because if you go in where the keypad is, there's a stairs right there, or well, it looked like that on the original. But I guess Daily Mail put out some floor plans that don't include floor number 1, because I don't know why they didn't include those, but it has 2 and 3, and they look a little different than the floor plans that we showed a few days ago. So I was going to look at those in a minute.
Right, and I've seen the Zillow pictures online and the floor plan, and maybe I misstated kind of.
Well, I was going to take the Daily Mail floor plan and then open up Zillow and then put the images right where each one of those, to get a better view of it. I mean, if I had the actual elements, I could build a 3D model of it. I literally could just put the walls in and have it be sort of the way it was, But I don't have. I mean, I'd need crime scene photos and make know where the beds were, where they were found, and then I could make it almost look exactly like what it was, If I had all the information. Yep.
Yeah, so I think maybe you misunderstood, or maybe I misstated what I was trying to say, because what I was really trying to say is that, how the police said just go in pairs, and all the people that died were in pairs. My only thought was maybe that because when they asked, obviously, who was targeted, of course, they're not going to get that information, whether they have it or not. It doesn't matter, right? Can't get information about the girls that died. Way understandable. There's a killer out there that might want them dead, and for all the crazy, wannabe sleuthers and all those reasons. But my only thought was when they said that the impairs, the only people, when they stated who was out, they said the 2 roommates that survived were out independently. So then it just kind of in my head tonight, thinking they're the only ones that said they were out independently. Was it actually someone targeting one of them?
No, but why though? Why would the only ones be the ones that were targeted? I think it's more the fact that the other ones got home later at 1:45 and later. That's why those people were killed, because they got home around the same time. The other 2, I don't know how they could be the target, and they're not even killed. They just went and killed some other random people.
Well, my only thought was it somebody after them, but their doors were locked? But I mean, you're right.
Well, maybe, but then why would you go kill? Right? But maybe. But why would you then go kill everybody else? You might have just tried the doors and went, shit, and got the hell out of there. Instead, you go there later, and also, why would you wait 2 hours to go in there? See, to me, it seems like after the people got home at 1:45, and it's either they were after 1 o'clock when the girls went to bed, between 1 and 1:45. Somebody else entered the home and hid, or after 2:52 and likely like 3:15, because you have to go to bed and fall asleep, the lights turn off and everything.
Right.
So then maybe at 3:30 somebody came in through the second floor sliding doors. Something like that. And then these people didn't lock their doors. But here's the thing, if Zaina and Ethan and Maddie and Kaylee didn't lock their doors, then that means they weren't scared of anybody. Like, there wasn't anybody in the house that they were looking at that made them nervous, at that time.
Right.
So that means they went to bed feeling peaceful. So then somebody comes out, and then there's things that happen. So if somebody came in earlier and hid, there's a lot of little, sort of rooms and things that people wouldn't necessarily go into late at night, right? You're pretty much hanging out in the living room, bathroom, or your room. So they could have been in any of the other rooms, like maybe the laundry room or something like that. And then you would just play it off as something else if somebody saw you right then. But I think the person waited for them to fall asleep.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm like, are you thinking it's somebody that they knew? Or, I mean, I struggle with that. Like, is it a student that left? I mean, I know, and we won't get all into the person who was kicked out of the.
I think it's somebody that probably felt like they were jilted, or they were somebody that was really like infatuated with somebody, but they just wouldn't really give them the time of day. And whenever they'd come around, they were sort of awkward, and the rest of the roommates treated them kind of strangely. So then they were, he perceived them as being the reason why, You know, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember that Elliot Roger or whatever his name is. I think his name was Elliot Roger.
Sounds really familiar.
Yeah, he was like this total weirdo. A kid, almost the same thing at a college campus. He started shooting all these college students because he thought, why do these other guys get to date people but I didn't get to? You know, so I could see it being somebody like him, Elliot Roger. You know, like a
Totally.
psycho.
Oh yeah, like I mean, a total. Well, it can be like a total antisocial. I mean, sometimes they can be hidden too, right? You know, but I really think, it definitely leans more to that like loner type who had this whole fantasy world going on. There are many other thoughts if they happen to be walking by, they realize they could see into it, but could be still that same type of person. They're like, oh, I can sit back here in the woods and watch everything that's going on. And
I said that plumbing.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody else said.
I know you
no,
did,
no.
yeah.
Somebody in chat said shooting is way different than stabbing, though. Yeah. It's, you know, he was shooting
Wait, what did
people,
you say?
but I mean, it doesn't matter that shooting is different than
right.
stabbing. Yes, everybody knows that. People aren't dumb.
Right.
Stabbing
Obviously,
is
somebody-
more personal, but you could just see a different level one that actually maybe liked somebody. This guy went around just killing. Elliot Rogers killed random people because why don't they like him and they like all these other guys? You know, he killed his roommates too, by the way. But in this case, you would have somebody that maybe with the same mindset but liked somebody. So then now it's more personal, right? And maybe they only had access to a knife, right? So we don't need to explain the obvious stuff to people in here, you guys. It's just sort of weird. Anyways.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously this person's got, you know, obviously a lot of hidden anger and rage and all that. I mean, it takes, not anyone can go in there and do that horrific crime with that knife. And you know, when people talk about, you know, well, how come nobody heard anything? And then, if he stabbed him in the lungs, they're not screaming. They can't do anything. You know, they're sleeping, whatever. Obviously, some of them tried to fight back.
That's Elliot Rogers.
I had another thought. Oh, you know what? One thing I did think about though, because Kaylee had just come home, or not home, I'm sorry, back to the house to show Maddie the Range Rover. And so it does make me wonder why that night. And I guess that kind of makes me think back to Kaylee, which I don't know if it's just because she seems to be the most outgoing of them all or whatever. I think a lot of people are kind of thinking maybe it's something with her possibly, but not her fault by all means. Yeah, definitely not.
But here's the thing: I got to get this other caller.
Why that night?
I got to get these other callers.
I will let you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Gray, for letting me talk so long.
But it was
and have a
interesting,
great
though.
night.
Yeah, thanks for the conversation. Have a good one. All right. What was your name again? What's your name again?
Lisa.
Oh, Lisa. Yeah, I wrote it down. Lisa from Michigan. It was so long ago, I forgot I wrote it down. Anyways, all right. Thanks.
That's okay. Have a great night,
You
Gray.
too.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, so Elliot Rogers did do that, but it was with his roommates. Roommate virgin killer Elliot Rogers knifed to death. Let's see, virgin roommates. And they kind of worded it weird, but anyways, he knifed to death his roommates, and then he went out and shot people. And then he used his car. He had a car too. I think he was. I don't know if he hit anybody with his car, but that's where they got him. You guys got to look that one up, man. That's almost one to do again because he had all these video. If Elliot Rogers was a case today, it would have been one of the largest sensations there ever was because he made all these videos of himself, and that's all that it needs is a social media presence, and everybody digs in and starts looking at things. And he wrote a manifesto that people would be able to tear apart. And man, he was absolute nuts. But anyways, so yes, you're right. Stabbing is different than shooting. Yeah. All right, 936, you're on.
Hey, what's going on, Gray? It's Tom from Houston. Thanks for taking my call, man.
Hey, cool. What's going on?
Hey, look, so, I don't know if you've gotten into this or not. I don't think I've seen you mention this, but on the Google Maps, have you seen the staircase? There's a road above the house that goes up
Yeah, I think
the
somebody
hill.
might have parked
Have
up
you
there and looked in. You can see in there.
Yeah, have you seen that big staircase that goes from that hill and it goes almost directly down to the house?
What do you mean, like staircase? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
So on the road, I'm watching the stream now. If you go on the road up above, so if you go to that more main road up on the hill.
Yeah, over here, yeah.
It's somewhere on there on the street view. There's a big like cement staircase that goes right down to the house from that main road.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's take a look here. It's somewhere. I think you want to go up the hill a little bit, right there. Yeah.
So you think right there is a staircase?
Right there where the sign is, I think.
Well, I think that's a
I was looking at it
flower
earlier today.
pot.
It's pretty obvious once you see it.
I mean, it looks more like a flower.
No, yeah, it might be.
Yeah. Bed.
It might be further up the hill a little bit. I mean, once you see, I mean, there's even a sign saying like,
oh really?
You know, like, watch your step. You know, it might be icy.
Maybe it's a little bit lower down. I don't know. Let's see. Because the house is right there, so it's kind of.
It's somewhere in that area, but you know, basically, I'm just calling to say that you're condescending.
Ah! You guess what? I turned. You got you turned off before you got to say that one. God, you almost got through, man. You almost got it. I could tell that you weren't quite right. You thought it was a. You're still using that word too? You sound like a wacko. What's wrong? What's wrong with you though? What's wrong with you though? What's wrong with you though? I mean, what's wrong with you? Why don't you start your own? Why don't you start your own YouTube channel or something? You sound kind of nuts. Like, who would waste their time sitting on hold for that long to just say something so ludicrous like that? Why would you do that? That's just the way I am. I talk like this. Why are you like you? I mean, have you been in prison? Have you been in prison before yourself? You sound like it. Sound like an absolute whack. You sound like an absolute whack job. See you later, buddy. All right, let's see. What's the next one here? These guys are absolute nut jobs, man. Just unbelievable. I kind of almost put the guy. I almost didn't. As soon as I heard him talking originally, I almost blocked it because I could just tell, you know. All right. Anyways, who's 779? 779. Yep. Who's this?
After you've heard everything you've heard tonight, you still thoroughly believe in your first thought. I'm with you, buddy. I really think it was a stalker or somebody, one of the girls, unfortunately. I don't know. You know, you really don't want to say it's a man or a woman because anybody could have been jealous of these beautiful girls. But I just wanted to add one more thing, if I could. I just feel so bad for these 8 parents who lost these beautiful children way before their time in some malicious way. But Greg, can you tell me, what do you think now after hearing all these comments?
Well, I mean, I think it's more like how we originally, on the first couple shows, it's just like somebody.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head.
I think it was somebody that was like, you know, I don't know, interested,
Extremely
either jilted,
jealous.
but he sort of blames the rest. I think the 4 that were killed, either the misfortune of being up at that time, but it seems like there might have been.
Absolutely.
They saw him. So you could be like, what if it's something like this? At 1 o'clock in the morning, some guy goes into the house and he sits around, and at 1:45, when they got home, that guy is sitting in the living room, right? Like, he's there at the house, and then there's this conversation like, what the hell are you doing here? And the guy's sort of, you know, he's sitting there. But then, you know, he leaves because they're like, get the hell out of here. What are you doing? You know, but he was sort of interested in one of the girls, but he's sitting there waiting around, right? So that would make
the coroner really thought they were.
Yeah, but I just want to finish my thought because it's similar to having the Jack individual where something happened. So when they came home, there's a guy sitting there, and you know, because it's a party house, there's this random dude sitting there, and it's just him and the 4 individuals that were murdered, and something went down there, and then the person takes off. leaves. Maybe it wasn't a really big deal, but it pissed this guy off or made him feel a certain way. And then...
And he left.
Then he leaves, and then
came
they're
back.
just sitting around, and then, then Kaylee and Maddie later call up Jack for whatever reason. Maybe it was just because they're, drunk and they're making calls. And it
Or
looked...
suspicious of
Well, I don't think so, because they all went to sleep. If they were that nervous, they wouldn't have. Then it was the... Zaina and... what is it? Zaina and Ethan... they went to sleep too, so they all go to sleep, and then the person's really angry and sort of waits outside for the lights to go off and waits a little bit longer. Then he goes in and exacts revenge or something like that.
Do you think he has anything to do with the dog 2 weeks earlier?
No, well, they said that they can't find any, they didn't believe that there was a link at all.
Well, that's kind of weird. Some poor doggy got skinned alive, and all of a sudden these 4 murders happen.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but people think, I'm not trying to interrupt you, but I want to finish my thought before I get interrupted. I don't do well when I have to start over again. Yeah.
Sure, I get it.
And that's just the way it is too, so.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is, you asked me my opinion, and then I was telling my opinion, and then you were trying to interrupt me, but I wanted to finish the story, but you got these idiots in the chat going, Gray, don't interrupt. Well, you asked me a question, so that's just how I do the show. Yeah.
You know what? That's why I called in, to hear your opinion. Okay, so I don't care what anybody else says.
I mean, that was just one that I came up with. It's sort of a newer type of that same theory. It's just that maybe the person was already there because it's a party house. And then something happened, like between and maybe it's true that they were trying to call Jack, like, God, there was this weirdo here. I mean, that's absolutely possible, right? Yeah.
But
this
what
point.
could Jack do if he was 4 hours away?
Well, the only problem, he wasn't 4 hours away. That was a different boyfriend. Jack lives in the town there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, news to me.
Yeah, there was another Jake or
I think it's very
Jack.
Yeah. Honestly, it's kind of perplexing the whole way around it. Well, I had to ask you that opinion, like that dog getting skinned 2 weeks earlier. Somebody, I don't know, somebody is really off their rocker 2 weeks earlier. And could it be jealousy? Could it be one of these beautiful girls said, I don't want to? And maybe he had been there before. Like you said, maybe he was sitting in the living room. I don't want to think that, because the other two, boyfriend and girlfriend that were together, they were home earlier than the girls.
Yeah, only 10 minutes earlier. I mean, it wasn't really. It was 56 and 45.
I thought it was earlier, but
11 minutes.
Anyway, it would be pretty scary to have somebody in your living room when you came home. If that's your...
Well, I don't know if that's just one I just thought of right then, because, you've got the...
It's just so weird.
You got the everybody had, a lot of people had the keypad number, and it was just sort of an open house where people would party.
Well, maybe. We honestly, I'm sticking with somebody was stalking and somebody was jealous. It could be a man or a woman, but I honestly think it was somebody that rebuffed. Like somebody, I don't know where I heard that, but somebody was really had an affair with the man and then came back. No, I don't believe any of that. That man was happily with that girl. I don't know. Listen, I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Get on to your next call, sweetheart. I'm going to keep listening.
Well, let me just, I was just thinking
I just
about
wanted your opinion.
Well, I was just thinking.
Thank you.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Let's see. What was I thinking? I was thinking.
Go ahead.
Well, the person was sitting in, the living room. Yeah, but what I was going to say was the phone calls, though. The one part that's a little weird is if they were calling Jack to, like, hey, there's this weirdo here. Why do you think Maddie would then also have to call? Because were they just assuming?
I agree.
Yeah, like, why is he, so to me it seems kind of random. Seems kind of random to me.
Well,
Like they were just having.
He's saying, you know what? I'll try. If he's not answering, I'll try. What?
Right, but why though? Because they must assume that he's not going to answer the phone when she calls.
Maybe he would. I don't know, but isn't it possible he's not answering his phone? And the weird thing to me is they call their friends in the morning saying, you know what, I can't get it. Come on now. It could have been a bloody mess. How would you call people over? You know, like...
Huh? Yeah. Well, she might not have seen
the
it
sheriff,
totally.
However,
Yeah,
well,
I don't know.
Well, the sheriff said there were other people.
Yeah, the roommate called people over. To me, it doesn't even really matter.
911.
Yeah, we have a
911.
See, another thing too. There's a delay on this call. So like when she pauses, and I think, oh, that's a normal pause time, and I start talking, she starts talking again because she doesn't hear me for the next 2 seconds.
I've been hearing you all along.
No, you hear me,
On
but
the
there's a
weird-
pause. Watch, I'll do it right here. Let's do the test, okay? I'm going to count to 3, and right when I'm about to say 3, you say 3, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
3.
Oh, come on. Nope, you were about a half second behind me. You did it too fast. Do it again, and try to do it on the right time, okay? 1, 2.
Sorry for the delay.
Can you just... Oh, God, just do it.
3.
No, we're not doing it. Just do it at the right time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Hello. Hello.
Oh my God, I gotta go. All right, have a good one. Thanks for calling in. Jeez, she didn't really get it. It was like, wow. All right, 785, you're on.
Hi, Gray. This is the real Lisa Smith. How are you?
The real one. What's going on?
Yeah, last time you said, is that my real name?
Yeah, how could that be your real name?
Because it is. I was meant to be a Smith. I told you.
Oh, well, there you
How
go.
are you doing?
It's too generic, but it is the real one. So there you go.
I swear to you, I'm gonna send you a picture of my ID.
This well, Jill is like Jim, right? And Smith. Come on, I mean that's like. All right. Anyways, what do you got?
You know, honestly, I think about this all the time because I just can't get it out of my head. And I honestly think it was some random dude who maybe saw them at their job, maybe saw one of them and, you know, had an unrealistic and unnatural need to be around him. And they followed him. And maybe he followed him several times or followed her, one of the girls, several times because I don't think they were after Ethan. And, you know, he just waited and baited his time. You know, about 25 years ago, we were in our house. We were young. And we went to sleep. And within 5 minutes of turning the lights out, we had a home invasion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
and that's what we were
I
saying.
knew-
You know, like... so what are you saying? What did you say right at the beginning there? Like that we waited
I'm
for the
sorry.
lights to turn off?
Yeah, when the lights turn off,
Yeah.
it was about 5 minutes
Yeah, we've
later,
been saying that
and they
from the...
came out.
I mean, that's what we've
Oh, I know.
basically been saying. So it's weird when you see people in the chat go, oh, I agree. Like it's something like a new concept. But yeah, of course you would wait for the lights to turn off because you might think they're even sleeping at that point. Or it's just dark and they're mayhem, right?
It was mayhem for my house for sure because the door came down and they were in there with guns before
Wow,
I
that's
even
creepy.
realized what was going on.
That must have been pretty
Luckily,
creepy.
we all lived through it.
Yeah, that must have been pretty
You know, we
creepy.
lived through it. I think I'm a little off time too. I don't think I'd be very good on your 1, 2, 3 right now.
Well, no, let's do it, though. Let's see if you can do it. I'm going to count to 3, and when I say 3, you say 3. Okay, watch. 1, 2, 3.
3.
See, that's like a second and a half later. So, boom. See, you were able to do it.
I hate to interrupt you. Yet I feel like, well, everybody interrupts it. Maybe it is a delay.
Well, it's just a pause, like right there. See, like you said, it was a delay, and then you had the natural pause where, in my mind, I go, okay, I can make a follow-up comment, but then in your mind, it was like this uncomfortable pause where you wanted to keep continuing. So it does cause a problem having that delay, but it's okay. We get through it.
I just Absolutely. I just think I think it's somebody who's seen one of the girls. I think that they coveted him. They liked him. I think it's a loner, maybe somebody undereducated, maybe even underemployed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know about the incel thing. People say that, but not necessarily.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
And I think, no. And I think that he could have followed him maybe just once.
What makes you say underemployed though? Like what would that what elements of this case?
It has a lot of time.
No, but I mean, what element of the case made you go, I think he's underemployed?
Well, it's a college town. You know, he just doesn't seem. This killer seems like he was messy and erratic. I don't think he knew there was 4 people in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Or 6. There were 6 actually, but I don't think he even realized that. I think he was laser focused on one of them. I don't know which one, and I think that he had time maybe to stalk her. And you know, when you don't have a really good job where you're, you know, regular job, maybe you'd have a little more time to stalk around and check these younger girls out. They were beautiful, beautiful young people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I'm to the lone wolf theory.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, you know, I think it is just one person here. For sure. I
kind of think it's gone on so many days now. You know, if it was somebody really close, I think they'd be nailing that down because they want that school to come back and they want people to feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just hard for me to believe that it's you know, of course they said it's probably not the ex-boyfriend, which I never really thought it was. But I don't know. It seems really random to me, and I think that he didn't have any idea that first floor existed. I don't think he was ever in the house. And I just believe he was focused on one of them, and I don't think he knew Ethan would be there, because if he was stalking that one girl...
So that could be the other theory where he's in there, he's searching for the one, he just didn't know what... But, I mean, wouldn't it seem like like he would have known, like he would have been looking through those woods a couple times to make sure where she was living, and even watched a couple times, and then came, because it's like, you know, those girls probably just saw the woods there and wouldn't shut their blinds very often while they're changing clothes or something, and this guy was probably at night just sitting there looking in through that window, and he would have known, it seems like. But do you think it was just that night where he ran into them and sort of somehow followed them home?
I think it could have been multiple occasions. I think, like what you said, it could be multiple occasions. That's what I meant by the underemployed, because, you know, maybe he has a part-time job and he's able to.
Right. Well, then wouldn't he have known that? Wouldn't he have known then that they were on the 3rd floor, and just avoided?
I don't know.
Going to Ethan and Zaina's room, because he would have, if he saw them multiple times. I was just saying multiple times at the house. He was looking through the windows and he knew where they lived.
Well, let's say maybe he thought there were 3 girls there, because the basement, he probably thought that, but the house is set up so odd.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
That I think you could discount that bottom level, which was a blessing for those young ladies. But yeah, I think that he could have been watching them through those backwoods. He could have been right back there because it's very dark. You can see right in the windows. And the girls probably, you know, did change their clothes or things like that. And maybe he thought, okay, I'm going to kill all 3 of them.
Mm.
I mean, it's possible that he wanted to kill all 3 of those girls. He knew all 3 of them lived there, wanted to kill all 3 of them.
Why do you think he wanted to kill them?
Because I think he's a maniac.
All right. So
a monster.
Yeah, so he would have been, like, that's what they used to call those people back in, like, the 60s in the paper, the serial killers. They call them maniacs. It was pretty funny.
I'm old. I'm 54. Absolutely. I mean, just, you know, I could call him a spree killer, a mass murderer, a serial killer. You know, there's all kinds of names for him, but really a madman with a lust for blood.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
I don't know. I just wanted to call in. I've been cooking all day, baking here and there, and I wanted to call in and wish you and the freaks a happy Thanksgiving.
Well, cool. What did you make? Pies?
I'm doing it all.
Oh, boy.
Today I baked a cherry cheesecake. I baked a pumpkin pie.
Do I get one?
I made deviled eggs, pasta salad, I just stuffed my turkey and put it in the oven. I put it in at night, 325. It'll be ready at noon. It'll be perfect every time.
So how does that work? You do what now?
I stuff my turkey. I know that that's a sin these days, but
but you start cooking it at what time, and then how long do you cook it for?
At midnight. At midnight, I put it in on 325, and then I take it out at 11 o'clock.
So you cook it for 11. How many pounds? What if it's not a big one? Like
it's always a big one. It's 21 pounds.
Oh, okay. That's crazy though. You cook it all day.
I don't know how to cook a smaller turkey, Gray.
No, I just mean like that's 11 hours cooking. It allows you to sleep too. You can just go to bed, right?
Yes. That's how my mom did it. My mom and my grandma, they both put it in at night. There's always a 20-pound turkey or more, and they always put it in at night on 325. They always stuffed it, and it was always ready, perfect, and done, and never poisoned anybody.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. In your theory that it's a maniac or a serial killer like person, it's going to be really hard to solve this one.
Absolutely.
To get it back to that, but your food thing makes me hungry, and it's too late to think of eating. So I had to switch really quick.
If you were here, I'd give you a piece of cherry cheesecake.
Oh God, dude.
I really do hope you and the freaks all have a wonderful holiday.
Yeah, you too. What was your name?
I've been listening to you on and off. I'm sorry?
And what's your name again? I forgot to write it down.
The real Lisa Smith. I have
the real Lisa Smith. That's right. Wow, so it was Lisa from Michigan earlier. And
I'm from Kansas.
Right, but now we got the real Lisa Smith from Kansas. All right.
From Kansas, yeah. Well, can you get any plainer than that? I'm getting ready to skip down the yellow brick road.
So you're always the one that you're the Thanksgiving meal. Probably have Christmas at your house, all those things, right? Like you're the main hub.
I am
for all those things. Good.
I am.
That's like my mom.
I'm the eldest.
Yep.
And I enjoy it. It's a labor of love that I really enjoy.
Well, it's really cool. How many people? Do you have a lot of people come over? Or?
About 20.
Oh, geez. Hence the 21-pound turkey. Yeah.
I'm making a ham, too.
Oh, God. A honey ham? Or?
Oh, yes. It's a honey ham.
Oh, forget it. Get out of here.
A spiral one. With a bone in it.
Oh, geez. All right. Well,
and then we're going to have sweet potatoes and mashed potatoes, all the good stuff.
I'm not a big sweet potato fan, but I like mashed potatoes and gravy and all that, and yams and all that.
Yeah, well, we're going to have it all. We're going to have a charcuterie board, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Well, have fun.
I've been listening to you on and off all day. I've been listening to some of your old shows, and you've kept me company all the way through my cooking today, and I really do appreciate you.
Well, thanks. Very cool. Well, I appreciate you calling in. Have fun.
All right, you have a good evening.
Have a good Thanksgiving. All right, bye-bye.
And make sure and tell your moderators they do a great job.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks.
All right.
Have a good one. Bye. And even you trolls out there, even the wacko that called in, that use derogatory terms that are people don't say anymore. I wish you a happy Thanksgiving too. All right. It sounds like you need a lot more joy in your life. You sound like a miserable piece of shit. All right. 585, you're on the air. Hello? 585.
Hi, this is Sam.
Hello, Sam. What's going on?
Hi, nothing much. I'm just calling because I have a quick little theory.
Mm-hmm.
I personally, in my personal opinion, I believe that Ethan might have been the first victim. I think he was 6 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
And I think,
why are you saying this though? Where are you deriving the height from?
I just think when he, the layout of the house that,
No, but why are you coming up with that he's 6 feet tall? There isn't one element.
Well, he's a pretty big guy, so I think the killer had to get him out of the way first, and then move on to the other girls.
I know, but what made you say he was 6 feet tall is what I'm trying to get at.
Because that's the information that his parents put out.
That the killer is 6 feet tall? The killer?
No, Ethan.
Oh, yeah, Ethan's big. Okay.
Yeah, so I think the killer wanted to get him out of the way first and then moved on to the other girls. That's just, after watching and obsessing with this case for the past 5 days. That's just something that I came up with. And I agree with the last caller. I think this is somebody that's like a loner, has a lot of time on their hands, and
Yeah, but here's the thing. Ethan was
somebody
asleep.
that's a college
No,
dropout.
but let's just go back to. I want to go back to the Ethan part. Like he was asleep, right? So like, why does it matter like how big he is and stuff? The guy comes in and just does a fatal stab wound or.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where they were stabbed first, but I mean, you jump from if you feel a pinch, no matter how drunk or whatever you are, you jump.
Right. But if it's a wound, that's going to, but if it's a wound that's going to like incapacitate you almost immediately, like a stab to the neck or something, he's not going to be doing much. So what were you saying at the beginning?
He started stabbing Ethan first, I think.
Well, I wanted to know what you said that Ethan. Somebody up above said his mom, their parents said that what now? That Ethan was the killer was taller. Or what?
No. Ethan parents, I believe they said that he was over 6 feet tall.
Oh,
and,
Ethan's over 6 feet. Okay.
Yes, he was pretty athletic and.
Yeah. So the guy might have been pretty strong. The killer, right?
Yeah. So I think he wanted to get him out of the way first, and then move on to Xana. And then probably Xana was watching him stab her boyfriend, and she tried to jump in and.
That's why she has defensive wounds. We were talking
help
about that.
And exactly. So exactly, and I do agree. This is somebody who's like a loser, like a dropout, high school dropout, or college dropout, or somebody that has a lot of time on their hands. Somebody that's been watching these girls for a while now. I think. Do you know how long they've been living in that house?
I don't actually. No.
Specifically, Kaylee and Maddie. Do you know when they moved in? Because I think they were the.
I don't know how long they were there.
The main obsession.
Yeah, so they were getting them out of the way to get up to, but he didn't assault any of them sexually. They say, but a lot of times, sometimes they say that they weren't to keep that secret. And here's the thing, it's definitely possible that one of them was sexually assaulted, and yet they tell us that the person wasn't, so that when they finally catch the person, that'll be a piece of information that only they would know. And they do that all the time. They keep that piece of information secret, and that's how they know one of them was the target at this point. That's another possibility of how they know one was a target, because one actually was assaulted, but they don't want the public to know that. That's a possibility.
That's very possible.
Yeah.
That's very possible. Also, I know I watch a lot of Criminal Minds, and I know that's TV, but I know that just because they were in touch or anything sexually doesn't mean the killer wasn't aroused by the act of stabbing.
There's
I watch a lot of true crime.
Well, some of these people don't
disturbing part.
Yeah, they don't necessarily always do the actual physical. It was still sexually gratifying to them to actually do the killing. I don't know, like when you bring up Tony Klein, how he bashed his kid's head into a toilet and then seemed to get off on it with his wife.
Oh, Jesus.
That was in the Delphi case, but yeah, it's just crazy.
Well, yeah, we live in a very dark world, that's for sure. A lot of sick people, and I don't know, I just pray to God that this doesn't go cold or take 6-7 years to solve. And we have to be patient, but I don't know, for some reason this has really gripped the whole country, It
was funny because I remember when I was first covering it, I think a couple days in, I even waited a day, it was already out there. I don't know, I just waited a day, and somebody typed in, "This is going to be huge." And man, it's it's on every single, and that was before it was huge, none of the big networks were even talking about it. And now it's just huge. It is huge. Every single network, they have long pieces too, not just the quick little update video. They're always 7 to 10 minutes long, and all for ratings, I guess. I don't know. It works, They put on when on these channels like the On the news networks, they know based on how many people are watching on each of their stories. So that's what they do. On over here, it just seems like right now this is what everybody wants to talk about. I normally cover all kinds of different cases, but it's hard to switch off of it, because everybody, that's what they want to talk about on my channel. Right?
Yeah, I don't really get obsessed with cases, but I got really into the Jodi Arias and then the Chris Watts, and then this one really I don't know, for some
Chris
reason
Watts.
just gripped me.
Chris Watts, we got to hit the...
Yeah, I'm not one of those people that's follow stuff, but this one just really got me
No, Chris Watts is...
in detective mode over here.
We have a no Chris Watts zone here, though, okay? Because...
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Why, you guys hate him that much?
No, it was mainly because the case was solved in 3 days, but it went on and on and on and on and on and on for no reason at all. It was unbelievable. It just... People were trying to implicate the girlfriend. They were trying to do this. They were trying to do that. And it was just absolute lunacy to me. Unbelievable. The case was solved in 3 days. There was no reason for it to continue on except they produced all the body camera footage. And everybody's like, ooh, it's still solved, but look at this. It was just weird. But what were you about to say? They just came up with something?
Yeah, I was going to say the most sickening part about that case is how all the women that are lighting Chris Watts and are in love with him is sickening.
Yeah, no, I think people were ridiculous that were going, ooh, it's Nicole, I guess Nicole Kessinger. She has something to do with it. And it's just like, God, the case is over, you guys. Chris Watts is the guy. He's and it just kept going on for months and months, and people built their entire channels on Chris Watts, covering a case that was solved in 3 days.
So many.
Yeah, it was scary. But the more scary part is all the people that like to watch it. It's like
people are fascinated with crime, and the uglier, the more it's just human nature.
Right.
So I think that's all I wanted to say. I probably have more stuff, but I forgot.
Well, it's good stuff. I think it's interesting information there, or your thoughts there. So.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
We'll see what it turns out to be at the end. All right. So have a good one.
Hopefully, I think the local news is doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Trying to keep this thing going. And,
Yep. Everybody's
that's good.
Covering it well. I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah, whoever did this, I hope you don't enjoy your Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird thought.
I hope you choke on your turkey. No, I'm serious. This is a monster.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a great Thanksgiving yourself, though. Okay. All right. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye. Yeah. All right, I got one more caller here. 330. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Greg?
Who's this?
Can you hear me? Dave.
Yeah, you got to turn off your audio in the background. You just use your phone.
Hey, you got to turn off.
See how I can hear myself 10 seconds later?
Sorry, I got it.
Yeah.
All right, so basically I got two things I wanted to ask you. If the killer went in and killed the girl and the boyfriend, how was there not a scream from one of them?
Well, there might have been. The girl said, the other two roommates that were there said they heard stuff, but they thought maybe, well, the story we're being told is they thought maybe it was partying,
I see. Yeah, because there had to be, with the boyfriend and the girlfriend in the same bed, unless you're dead accurate to stab two people in the neck that quick.
Yeah, he killed the guy first, then went after her, and that's probably why she has defensive wounds, because she was able to sort of wake up, and then he killed her. But the weird part is, I don't know if that person really... I mean, they could have done it just for like, wow, if I kill upstairs, it might wake these guys up, and then I'm in trouble. Yeah, I mean, if it's that level of sort of calculation, man, that's pretty creepy. I mean, that's, like, that
Yeah.
means they were really planning it out, looking outside, knew that the guy was watching. Oh, there's a guy in there. Got to take him out first because the girls are up above them, and then they might wake up, and then I might be in trouble. So then he takes them out, goes upstairs, maybe doesn't even notice or that there's other two girls there, because maybe it goes through the sliding door on the second floor, right?
Definitely don't think he knew there was two people at the bottom because of the way it's set up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what else? Oh, I just wonder if this killer lives alone, or if he lives with his parents, or someone.
Well, I mean, if you listen to Zozo, he lives in his mother's basement and drools. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
She always says that on every case, but yeah. Yeah, so maybe that's what it is, I mean, if he's 19 and he's local, yeah, he probably lives with his parents, maybe, but because a lot of kids, if they're in college, just say, I'm not living at home, but you can save a lot of money doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to think the age range of this person, if they're going to be local, living with a friend or parent. I just feel like someone has to know if they were living with this person, but yeah. And then, not releasing the 911 call. I don't know what that still has to do with their investigation, if they cleared everybody involved with that call, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, it might be, I don't know, they're just not going to release it right now, apparently. I don't know how that's part of the investigation, if everybody's cleared, but, it might be disturbing to listen to or something, Not that people can't handle it. It's always weird how everybody goes, like on the news, they say, oh, yeah, we watched that. It was really disturbing, so we're not going to show you guys. Well, what makes you better than, any of us? Like, why, let people decide. Tell them in 5 seconds we're going to play this so you can see what we saw. And if you don't want to see it, turn your head. Or something like that. But they just don't do that. I don't know.
I know. And I just feel like you guys and the public are pretty good helping hand to law enforcement. And I know they want to keep it close and everything, but I just don't know if this guy's in town or gone, or if it would even hurt to have the public help him out somehow. But well, they don't know who it is, so I guess they can't say.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess that's. Hopefully, we get some answers soon, though. That's what.
Yeah. That's all I got to say. But love your show, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, appreciate it. Have a good Thanksgiving too. All right. Have a good one.
Yep. You
Bye-bye.
too, man. Bye.
All right. Well, that is the. What was it? I was going to look at Zillow, but I don't really want to now. It's like 3 hours in already. Man, what a crazy. What a night in here again. I mean, what's weird about the troll caller is he just sat there while you guys couldn't hear him and still just like, well, man, because you're just so this and that. You're, pompous. You need this. And I'm like, dude, that's just that's my show, You think I'm like that. Other people don't, I just do the show, I weed through, and I don't want to sit there and just ramble on about, platitude shit that we've all, like if you said something already, over and over and over and over and over again, it's just, it just is what it is. I mean, I hope you guys appreciate sort of moving things along sometimes. Some of you are like, I like just listening to all the rambling. Yeah, well, I don't. So I guess that's where it's like my show, and that's where I decide to do what I want to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, I goof around on the show sometimes too, but it's usually at appropriate times, right? Like it's never associated, unless it's like a weird, like a criminal that looks like a absolute wacko or something. Other than that, it's just always off to the side. But anyways, I gotta get going. But I do want to wish everybody a great Thanksgiving tomorrow if you celebrate that. And if you don't, why the hell not, you know? Just do it. Figure out a way. It doesn't necessarily have to mean, oh, the invaders, you know. It's just a time to say thanks for everything that you've got and that kind of thing, all right? That's all. That's what it's really about. Forget the original, like, oh, they were sitting down and, you know. It's just so silly, the things people do. Does anybody even think of that, really, on Thanksgiving? When you're on Thanksgiving, you're thinking about, yeah, man, it's great to see the family. We're eating turkey, and, you know, and maybe somebody says, you know, thankful for all the things that, you know, blessings in your life, right? Nobody's thinking, wow, when the, you know, when the North America was invaded by these wacko, you know, it's like, come on. You know, just don't. It's like overthinking it a little bit, don't you think? No, Greg, because that's really what the origins are, and I just think that. Okay, all right, good for you. Yeah, I don't like those either. Green bean casseroles. I hate candied yams. You know, there's all this stuff that people like, and I just sick. Let me ask you this: would you ever go to a restaurant and order candied yams? And the answer is no. Okay, I mean that's the last thing you'd order on the menu. But at Thanksgiving, it's like, yay, candied yams, right? But if you went to a restaurant, you wouldn't say. They came up. What would you like, sir? Well, I don't know, but do you have any candied yams? I was really looking. No, thank you. I don't know. I think yams are potatoes, sort of things. That are, yeah, taste like garbage. You're hungry when I said yams? Oh man, God. Unreal. I gotta get a new keyboard and a mouse. This is too loud. Everything's too loud. I used to have this way quieter keyboard where I put these little things in there. Now it's like. All right, thank you to Annabelle Stealth, 1X Rose, The Velvet Army, Shelly Ann, Amanda Jansen, who called in, Raw Olympia, I think you called in too, right? Quietly Frozen, the coolest name in YouTube history. Brianna25, Mary Glaviano, Colleen Dahmen, and then P.S. twice in a row with double cat eye donations. Boom. Sarah Terry, Cairo, Lil Barb, Dreaming Girl, Tracy Steamer, 1X Rose, Bucks. Something about inbred outcats. Marty McFly, Quietly Frozen, Linda Howell, Zozo, Marty McFly, True Blue, Love the Sun 100. Marie Anderson, Ann Healy, Not Your Average Chick, 1X Rose, Wool Labs, Jessica Schubach, Shanna, 1X Rose, Brian Harmon, and Sack and Fox Nanny. Thank you. Then, I don't know if there's anything else, but maybe go look. I haven't looked on anything in here. Let's see. Maybe. Is it tonight or? This one's just. Oh yeah. So. Let's see. Laura said, "You're the best, Gray, and it's been so great to see your channel finally growing. Even though it means we have to share you with more people, you definitely deserve it. Just so you know, you're the only YouTuber I've ever given money to, and also the only one I've joined as a member. I'm typically very frugal with my money, but whether it goes to pay your mortgage or use for donations, I consider both of those a great cause. Thank you for the hours and hours of your time to give to us. And now I won't say what her actual name is because it's on the other, at the bottom there. I mean, not actual name, but the YouTube name. So I'll just leave it at that. So thank you out there. I appreciate that. It's one of the regular freaks, just so you know that. And then also, wow, Tosh. Very cool. Thank you very much. Very generous. Thank you very much. There we go. Put that in there. Anyways, thank you guys for being so, generous and supporting my channel. Really appreciate it. It allows me to do all the, whenever I talk about the channel, though, it sort of feels like a we, but I guess technically for the, the channel, I bring in income and I do what I want with it. And usually every single month, I try to donate over 50% of the net revenue because that's what I want to do. I'm not a charity intake channel or anything like that. That's just part of what I do with the support that I get. Okay? And if people like to support me more because we do that, that's awesome. Very cool. Thank you. But if not, it's okay too. I mean, there might be months where I can't do quite as much, but I'm always going to be giving something because I think it makes a huge difference to those places. Like we've given Texas EquiSearch over $15,000, and there's no way that's not a big deal to them. That's, they just use that for gas. It's quite a bit of gas, although now it's not as much. But anyways, thank you guys very much for being here, and I'm going to do a spin. Where is it? Get the wheel out. Maybe we'll do an everything tumbler and a wow, just wow mug. How's that sound? Sound good? Awesome. Yeah, but here's one thing I do know for sure. Without your guys' generosity and constant support, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing. So I do know that, And you guys also allow me to make an income on here, which is very cool. And that's why I can do 7 days a week shows, right? So that's a boom for you guys. All right. So thank you very much. And let's do the shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And this is for the everything tumbler. Yeah, I think I got it in here correctly. Yeah. There's some blanks in there also. I can see that. But that's all right. I'm going to come on tomorrow, too. I was checking in with Lillian earlier to see what time she had her. I think she'll be done a lot. Our Thanksgiving is like at 2 or 3 o'clock. I'll probably be home at like, I don't know, 6 or 7 or something. And maybe we'll just come on and hang out, You know what I mean? So here we go. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. This is for the everything tumbler. Oh, look at that. It's the Velvet Army who always wants to respin. So we're going to shuffle that one. Right, the Velvet Army? There we go. She must be a really lucky person. Oh, and look at it. It's PS. All right. So PS, if you're out there, I know you went to sleep earlier, but you've won the Everything Tumbler. And notice how that was a lot more spaces because that was the... So here we go. This is for the Wow! Just Wow mug. Oh, look at that. It's Wool Lab won the Wow. Just Wow. And coming up in the near future is going to be the... I don't even know what that means. I might even have like a face with a bubble coming out of it that says that. And the other one is just Jim. A little tiny courier font Jim on a white mug, and then maybe a black mug with a white lettering. Just really tiny. And that's all it says. And maybe on the back it says, "Be safe out there." I don't know though, it'd be cool just if it said Jim. That's it. There's nothing on the other side. It's just a whole mug, and the only thing on it is a little tiny wording of Jim. Next will be the Clem series. Are you talking about me? I'm Clem. Yeah, we know you're Clem. That's why we heard you last night. I'd love to have a mug that said Clem. What? Why would you want a mug that had your own name on it? All right. Wow, unbelievable. Clem's a little bit weird, I gotta be honest with you. Yeah, but anyways, thank you guys very much for being here. Thanks for, again, all the support and everything. You guys are amazing. Thanks for all the mods on both Discord and over here. If you're a channel member, you want to be on Discord, you got to send me an email, and I'll send you a link, and then send me your social security number along with your... I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Yeah, you just you just send me an email with your channel. I don't know. It's hard to do it. But anyways, if you're a channel member, send me an email. Okay, I have to verify. You get put into a waiting room, and then we figure out. So. All right, very cool. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here, and as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Also, again, have a great Thanksgiving, all right? And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6, 7. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person. What, Clem? What's going on? Hey, shut up, Clem. Crime dissector. Plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like a little projector. Clem, shut up, okay, buddy? Hey, Mary Lou, I'll talk to Clem, not you, okay?
Okay, Greg, gee, I just supported of you.
And I'm always gonna be a pup protector, fool deflector, interceptor. And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his vector. With all respect, John.
Colleen,
just remember I'm a temple for conjecture. I have no agenda. I'm no pretender. And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end,
I don't know,
I'm
Phil.
gonna send you
I should make a mug called "You're an Idiot."
Reveal the true offender.
Thought of that one? Yeah. All right, let's see.
Yeah, so I'll just get right
what do we
back
got
to
here?
work. All right, everybody. Talk to you.
All right, that's a good one. You're an idiot mug. You like that one? Or just how about that? Just one word, idiot. Really small, like Jim. We'll just call it the small lettering series, right? One says Jim, the other one's just idiot. Okay? Really small. It's just sitting there, and people wonder what it is, what it means. What are you referring to? Right. It would be awesome
Gray, that's mean. That's really mean, okay? I mean, what if you give it to somebody and they thought you were calling him an idiot?
That's a good point there, but who cares? I mean, are people that, I guess a lot of people are like that. I guess if you bought it, you'd have a little bit more confidence than that, right?
I guess so, Gray. But if you give it to me, I'd feel bad.
Well, I mean, sometimes you are, a little bit of that persuasion.
What do you mean, Gray?
Well, you can be a dummy sometimes.
You mean an idiot, Gray?
No, I didn't. I didn't say that. Anyways. All right, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great Thanksgiving. As I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.
That's just one step above stupid. Have you lost the last 3 brain cells, or do you just have cabbage for brains? Come on, man. What's wrong with you? Did you hear what I said? There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp. 5 brain cells, 4 aren't working.
Huh? It's a house!
Yay! Oh, God.
All right, anyway. All right. See you guys later. The Rodeo Clowns. All right, bye.